Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight and in person is the one, the only, Dion Green.
Oh my god, it's almost as if you're sitting right here in my living room. It's better than 3D.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2Ds in this house. Sorry. Up next, the last standing Samoa, Nick Udom.
I'm finally back.
I know. Where the fuck you been? Samoa wasn't on fire, and there was no giant sea monster, so... You better get later. Something cool.
I cannot disclose my location at this time.
That's fine. I mean, the audience doesn't care that much. They just know that you're alive and you're back.
Yeah.
And finally, Mr. Lendenfield.
A cuck, a fag, and a movie director all walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "Hi, Paul."
Damn it.
I shouldn't have laughed at that, but it was actually funny. So, listeners, if you're new to this channel, and there's a ton of you, welcome to World Class Bullshitters. And for our regular listeners that don't know what we're talking about, I put out a video the other week that has caught on like crazy, and we've gained hundreds of subscribers and thousands of new views to this channel. So, welcome to you people, and
The fuck
enjoy
you
the
mean,
show.
you people?
I don't know. I don't think many... Most people claim I'm a white supremacist on that video, so sure, I'll be a racist now for saying you people. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I think, especially seeing as how I've seen you for the first time ever in person, you don't look like one, so I guess I can't pull on that branch too hard.
Yeah. Awkward silence. All right. So, as always with World Class Bullshitters,
Heil Hitler?
Yeah, Heil Hitler. Let's give a shout out to the listener of the week. This week's listener of the week is Queen Sheena 1. She has a lot of great comments on our videos. They're quite long, but they're really good, so if you'd like to go out there and check that out, please do, because you'll be enlightened. Now, it's time for the news, so let's head on over to the news desk. Mr. Lendenfield?
Sure, so Wonder Woman 2 has already been confirmed.
Oh my god!
Zack Snyder confirmed, even before this shit fest that's about to hit theaters here soon, that indeed a sequel will be made.
I don't care. Like, I don't even want to watch this. The first one. This is the first superhero movie in 10 years that I'm just like, I have no interest in... Well, no. Fan-for-stick.
I was like, you're getting real relaxed on your fucking... Timelines here, because that was just, 2 years ago?
Yeah, but it was so off my radar that I didn't give a shit. I haven't even thought about it.
Rightfully so. I mean, everyone knows my feelings on the whole Wonder Woman thing, but it's just like, already, guys, we're just going to assume it's going to do well. Okay, good job. Good job.
I mean, people were...
DC has no room assuming... no leg to stand on, really, to assume that it's going to be good or it's going to be anything. They can assume it's going to be shit. That's as far as they can go. Because it's probably going to be.
The thing that's blowing my mind is I'm going through my Facebook, and, like, AMC and all those companies that are movie theater chains have been posting, like, trailers and win free this and win free that. So I thought, I don't see a lot of these commercials on TV, and I don't know many people outside of the podcast that are talking about this movie. So I thought I'd read their comments to try to get a general feel. You kind of got a few women that are interested, and then you got a lot of older white dudes that are like, oh, she's finally getting her own movie, she deserves it. I'm like, okay, dude, it's a fictional character, she doesn't deserve anything. She's not even really a she, it's that fucking drawing on a piece of paper, but that's neither here nor there. But the people just seem okay. I'm not seeing, like, tons of excitement comments like I saw for Guardians 2 and stuff like that. So, I think DC's jumping the gun. What do you guys think?
They are. I mean, that seems to be their MO nowadays. It's like, yeah, it's going to be good. It's like, you've just literally thrown shit on the wall so far. What do you... you're not all of a sudden gonna throw gold up there. It's not going to fucking happen. Come on, let's be honest.
No, and it's just frustrating at their... I guess it's their hubris that I'd like to see them fall to. Because, come on, Zack Snyder's on there like, oh, it's so great, it's going to be confirmed for a sequel. Like, Zack Snyder... There was a point in time where you and all your little cronies like Kevin Smith were like, oh, Batman v Superman is a $2 billion film, blah, 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 it's going to be this big hit. You fucking, like, didn't Deadpool make pretty close within like $100 million?
Of Batman v Superman?
Yeah, Batman v Superman made $862 and Deadpool made like $7 something.
No, it was right there.
So
right there.
a first-time R-rated superhero film, almost as many people went to go see. Plus, you had that stupid R-rated cut and your extended cut and all that dumb shit that no one gives a fuck about. Like, if Wonder Woman fails, it's not going to be because it's a bad movie or there's some kind of feminist agenda. It's going to fail because of DC's shitty track record. Now, the agenda's not going to help it. It could hurt it after the first weekend.
Right.
But see, the people that are like championing this movie aren't the ones that are going to go out and see it right away and be like, "Oh my god, I got to support this cause."
Totally. I mean, I think that's the thing that's going to really kill it is not just the fact that it's going to have all this bullshit behind it and all this social media clout, but the fact that people who are claiming to be excited for it, more specifically the people that are claiming to think that, oh, well, I agree that she deserves to have her own movie, which may or may not be true, whatever, but those same people aren't going to go see the movie. They're just not.
They're paying it lip service, not paying it
exactly.
cash.
The same motherfuckers that said the same thing about Ghostbusters, the same people that said the same thing, about other movies that had it's being made for the right reasons. Those movies don't normally do well because you don't go and see the fucking movie.
I think the one, talking about that kind of agenda, I think that one with Scarlett Johansson and the blonde girl from 22 Jump Street, the one that was the roommate, the one where they kill the stripper.
Oh,
I think that movie's going to do terrible.
Think so? I actually want to see that, so that one might do okay.
Oh, wait, hold on.
It's gonna do horrible. That'll be the type of movie that it barely makes back its budget, and it does well enough. I don't think it'll flop.
Wait, hold on. Which movie is this?
Just type in Scarlett Johansson movies. It's something like, not Date Night or something like that.
Horrible Night or something?
Girls Night? I don't know.
Rough Night, thank you.
Okay, Rough Night. Oh, no, yeah. I've seen the trailer for that. That doesn't look that good. I am excited for Atomic Blonde, though.
Oh,
that looks interesting. Yeah. Now, what did you say the numbers were for Batman and Deadpool?
Okay, was BVS? I thought BVS was like 868 or something.
Total?
Yeah.
Total is 873.
Okay.
Deadpool's total is 783.
Still, that's really close.
But but also take into account that the production budget for Deadpool is $58 million. BVS is $250 million.
And then even if we double each production budget due to advertising costs, which they don't factor into the budget, Deadpool's still a huge success.
Oh, God, yes.
$500 and something million profit. Batman v Superman barely made a profit.
Yeah, because let's see, you're talking. Oh yeah, no.
I was just saying, last year at this time there was just no goodwill towards that company.
I mean, I think they haven't gained any this year. Obviously, the year is still very young, but especially with Wonder Woman, obviously, I think now you have certain sites and news organizations going with, oh well, why isn't it getting all this attention? And then it finally does, and we're still sitting here like, I don't really want to see that movie. Like, there's nothing there that makes me want to go, oh, and obviously they're which, of course they're pushing the Chris Pine thing a lot now. But even so, I mean, is this going to be the first truly successful DC Universe movie, or I don't know. I don't think so. After Suicide Squad, I honestly don't think so.
Also, something interesting. I pulled up Wonder Woman on Google, and the time has gone to 2.5 hours, 2 hours 21 minutes, as opposed to 3 hours. Last time I was on here.
It's gone down since you brought that up.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Lendenfield, what were you getting ready to say?
I was going to say, I just think the move to announce a sequel before the film hits theaters is like purely marketing. Like, let's say that they have truly no intention of like for sure doing a second one. If you tell people there's going to be a second one, you're going to entice more people to come out and watch it because they're going to want to jump in on this long story. They're going to want to see it from the beginning. So I think it's just for the bullshit. It doesn't affect you.
Really that?
No, that's a dumb move because
people who don't watch movies at the theater, if they know there's going to be a sequel, they're not going to go watch the film. They're going to just say, "Oh, well, I'll get another one in 2 years. I'll just wait for DVD or watch it online, and then I'll wait for the sequel."
I don't think that's how the common consumer reacts. It reminds me of, I just saw the Mummy trailer for the first time.
Ugh.
And at the end of the trailer, it says, "Witness the beginning of a dark universe." So what they're doing is they're jumping on this bandwagon like DC, like Marvel, where they go, hey, we're going to be creating our own universe. Make sure you're here to see the first one. And then you take that same principle, and like I said, you're applying it here to Wonder Woman. Guardians did it when it first came out. Like the week before the first one hit theaters, they did the exact same thing, and I rolled my eyes then. Now, luckily, that was a good film, but I think anytime you do a move like this, it's for that purpose there, to inspire more people to come out, whether or not you actually intend a sequel.
It just turns me off to hear them be like, oh, well, the sequel's already planned. Like, okay, well, what if everyone hates Gal Gadot? Or what if she fucking dies? Or what if Justice League is an abysmal flop? Let's say Wonder Woman does okay. Okay, it's got a budget of, what, like $100 million? Let's say it makes $600 or $700 million worldwide. Okay, that'll be a fine movie, money-wise. Then let's say Justice League comes out and it makes dick all. Like, it's just a fucking flop. Are they really going to push for a sequel to Wonder Woman? Like, her alone was fine. Then her and the Justice League sucked. Do you think they would hedge their bets on her again? Like, hey, she can bring in all this money? I don't know. I think Justice League is going to be the determining factor if we get any more of this franchise.
What do you guys think Wonder Woman's going to make? I say $450. I would say Wonder Woman makes $450 million.
0.7 on each dollar. No, sorry, that was really stupid. I think 450 is a good conservative guess. I don't think this is going to blow up because even a lot of women don't like Wonder Woman. I mean, it's not like I've never met a comic book reader at the comic book store. If that's a woman, it's like, oh, my favorite's Wonder Woman. I hear a lot of Batgirl, I hear a lot of Deadpool, and I hear a lot of like Spider-Man and stuff like that. But Wonder Woman, to me,
the most female characters I hear about is Jean Grey, Phoenix. You don't hear a lot of Wonder Woman. Obviously, I can't speak to the reason as why. Obviously,
archaic character?
Right. I mean, I think that's definitely part of it. But again, I don't think that as far as this is the female character we want to push forward, I definitely agree that it's not. Holy shit, I agree with what you said. But I don't think that it's definitely not going to be Wonder Woman.
I think Black Widow could have a movie out herself, and that would be more successful than Wonder Woman.
I think that's especially... Well, and again, I guess to speak towards Cuckin's previous point, of as to the why they would say that's going to be a sequel, the established universe plays a huge part in that. And I think obviously with Guardians it worked because there were so many established films in the franchise as opposed to this one. Excuse me, there's not going to be very good previous parts in the franchise, and I think that's greatly going to affect it. But to say that, I think 450's a good guess. I'm definitely, like I said, after Suicide Squad, I'd go 350. Obviously, I really don't think that movie's going to do well. I really don't.
Nick, after you give your answer, I got a question I want to ask you guys.
Okay. I mean, and I'm not with Cuckin. I doubt the consumer is going to be like, oh, they've got a part 2, it's going to be good. I think the consumer's smarter than that, and they've seen DC and they've seen these other things, and they're not going to watch it. They're not going to give it the time of day. They're more invested in Marvel and their giant plan for world domination.
Oh, you're saying they're not even going to try the movie out? They're just going to avoid it all completely?
Yeah, because DC has a fucking stigma about them. They've got that shit stink that's stuck on them now. That nobody wants to go watch a movie that they're going to waste money on, because you're talking what? Even a single person going to a movie is $20.
Yeah.
You're gonna take 2 people and make it 40 with what, drinks and all that other shit? No. You're not gonna waste that kind of money to just go to the movies and have a flop and not have a good time. Come the fuck on.
Yeah, and this is a point I made a long time ago, and I still believe in it. I think most people, the kind of people that don't come to YouTube and look for comic book stuff, the people that aren't actual fans, the people that don't put a whole lot of thought into it, the people, they just see comic book movie and they're like, oh, I need to see that because I'm assuming everyone else will. I need to be like everyone else. And so they don't differentiate between DC and Marvel's track record. They go, oh, comic book movie? I'm expected to see it, so I will.
Yeah, but how many of those...
I think Green Lantern is the proof opposite of that.
Exactly, because, I mean, look, like, if that was the case, then every comic book movie would do crazy amounts of money, and that's not the case at all.
And I'd like to use my family as an example against that point. My cousins are into trendy shit, but they know, like, not even because of me, because I don't really talk to them much, but they know, like, the Marvel movies and they know the DC movies based on track record. And they, like, at Christmas, we had a discussion about Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, and other stuff, and they're like, they all hated Suicide Squad. They thought it was stupid, but they all like they all just call the Marvel movies the Iron Man movies, pretty much. It's kind of a weird, like, conglomerate term or whatever, homogenous term. It's like they're like the Iron Man movies, but they all seem to like those, but they don't like anything with Batman, and they shit on Superman. Like my uncle had a Man of Steel Superman doll that he gave to me because they don't really like that. They're like, this is kind of dumb.
Well, I think even to go off of that, I think overall, Cuckin's point is a good one. But again, as much as, and I know that everyone's gonna kind of giggle, as much as I beat this DC horse the fuck down.
You love horses, though.
I fuck you, but Batman vs Superman wasn't the drop off after the first weekend like 40-some%?
60.
Was it 60-some%?
It was like 60%.
So even so, I mean, outside of I think that point fits the best, Cuckin, in terms of opening weekend. But once word of mouth gets around, outside of Wonder Woman being amazing, people who, like Nick said, are not going to give it the time of day, combined with the people that are going out on a limb and saying, I'll try this movie, and then there are those that are waiting to hear back how the movie's going to be outside of opening weekend. It's not looking good for Wonder Woman.
Well, okay. The drop off for Batman v Superman is 69.3%.
God,
the second weekend.
We're not kidding. Woo.
Even though it was still ranked number 1 that week, that was the drop off. That was the change.
Well, here's one thing too we're not taking into account with Wonder Woman as opposed to all these other superhero movies. Wonder Woman's up against a really rough.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying this is going to make a bunch of money. But you got Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You got The Mummy. You got Captain Underpants.
I forgot about The Mummy coming out. God damn.
Transformers comes out a few weeks later. Planet of the Apes, Dunkirk. I mean,
Spider-Man's the next week, isn't it?
No, Spider-Man's next month.
Wonder Woman's the end of June.
June 2nd.
Oh, never mind. Okay, you're right.
We still got quite a few movies between that. I mean, but like Alien's going to still be out. There's going to be a bunch of Baywatch comes out the week before. Pirates of the Caribbean comes out next week. Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't even like those movies, but those
make money.
Those make money, and it's Disney. And if anything, Disney's going to want to hit them with a 1-2 punch to kill out their DC universe. So I just think Wonder Woman's gonna. The funny part is I'm kind of feeling sympathetic towards the film because it may be great, and she may lose her wooden robot accent and pull out these great things. and at the end of the day, the movie's just gonna get killed by everything. It's not like I'm trying to be nice about this, but there's no scenario where this movie makes $1 billion. No. It's the year's biggest hit. It doesn't happen because you got other shit. You got I don't like it, but Tom Cruise is an established box office superstar. The Mummy is going to make money just based on him, and it's going to appeal worldwide. I don't know. I'm not seeing The Mummy. I have no interest in it, but that's going to make a bunch of money.
And they got Russell Crowe in that.
Yeah, Russell Crowe. And here's one thing I wanted to bring up when I was going to ask you this question. I don't think culturally Wonder Woman's going to hit every market as like Iron Man or something else. Like I think it'll work in America and other similar like European countries, but I don't think it's going to hit in a certain way in Asia and certain stuff like that because they already have their own kind of female action heroes, and Wonder Woman goes against that, and I don't think they're going to like identify with her as opposed to like Spider-Man who just appeals to everybody because of the way he looks, like the eyes and the suit. There's no like Americanized anything for him. He's just there and he appeals to everybody. Wonder Woman, it's going to hurt.
And also, honestly, if they were to come out with a Black Widow movie and a Wonder Woman movie, I would go and watch a Black Widow movie instead because I know that character. Yeah, I know that character. I've been with that character for 10 years now, and if they did the backstory for her, yeah, I'd go fucking watch it.
Well,
I would gladly go.
The thing I always jump on about Wonder Woman is everyone that says, "Oh man, she was great in BVS. How can you not be pumped?" This is the argument I give them. Yeah. I say everything. She sounds like a mush-mouth robot. And everything you think she does great is CGI. She didn't do the cool things that you're going on about. Gal Gadot walked around a fucking building, went to a basement, saw Bruce Wayne doing her thing, maybe like spoke in his ear, and then got on and off an airplane, and and read a fucking email attachment. What you're going on about her, how her performance is so great and game changing, she did nothing. All that flying around and crazy shit was a computer, and the music was cool, but that's what got you pumped. Like the music and some CGI imagery, not her. Her face looks good.
I was going to say, she has my favorite superhero theme song right now. Because I can't really think of many other ones that jump out. Hers, like when I hear it, I actually, like you said, I get pumped up. That's a bitchin' song.
I've only heard it in BVS. I mean, it's fine. I know what it sounds like in my mind. It's better than the other DC themes for sure.
But is that enough to bank?
No.
$1 billion.
No, I was just making a comment
guys
that I
like Cuckin, there's not enough of them to pay for DC's thing. And I think the other thing you mentioned quickly, obviously, guys, take this into account. Feel free to jump in on it. When you said that Disney is trying to stamp out DC's movies, I think that's a huge part of it. I think Disney has Marvel, and Disney's trying to stamp out DC's comic movies. I don't think I don't think DC and Warner Brothers are trying to stamp out Disney. They're just simply focusing on existing comic book movies, and I think that's another one of the litany of issues with fucking Warner Brothers and DC is that they're not shooting for supremacy overall. They're just shooting for, well, we just want to win the comic book wars.
I think Disney's just trying to become, like, not literally, like, the only studio out there. In a perfect world, Disney, to them, not me, because this would be a nightmare. I fucking hate Disney overall. Like, in a perfect world for them, every weekend is one of their big tentpole movies. Either it be a Pixar, this, that, and the other, and they try to differentiate them so much to where the audience doesn't feel like it's just they're inundated with Disney shit. It's something so different. They just happen to own it all. Right. Like, I bet you, after the Marvel thing runs its course, they're going to try to get another pre-established franchise. Like, Indiana Jones is coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to just put so many chips out on the table and take up so much space.
Well, and you brought up The Mummy. Is what studio is that?
Universal.
It's
Universal.
Okay, so...
And Universal makes money because they have Fast and Furious and stuff like that.
Not only that, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, again, getting off topic, excuse me a little bit, you think that's going to be the next arms race is the monster movie franchise?
No, that's before it takes off the ground. It's a stupid concept.
It's not going to die before it takes off the ground because this Universal one might suck dick, but the established Godzilla, King Kong, and all that one.
Well, I was talking shit like Mummy and Dracula and Jekyll and Hyde. That shit, I don't think anyone cares about.
Oh, I'm with you there.
We'll see. I agree with you, but I'm just saying I think.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about those monster movies. They're different. They're not comic books. They're different. They might they might have staying power, but they will not put up the numbers that Marvel and other things have.
No, we're talking. That's a generational defining thing with the comic movies. I'm just saying, as far as the franchise, you've got Tom Cruise playing whoever the fuck in The Mummy, and Russell Crowe's playing Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah.
So I think the name recognition in that is gonna, in terms of going forward, as far as franchise.
Like this is I think this is the second or third time that.
That what?
I think this is the second time that Universal has tried this. No, sorry, this is the third time. Yeah, this is the third time they've tried this. And they always start with The Mummy for some reason. Why don't they start with something else? They need to start with,
I think you're talking about the Brendan Fraser one?
Well, not just that. They did that, and they did Hugh Jackman with Van Helsing. That was their second attempt.
Oh, well, were those... You think those were meant to be franchises, or were those...
Yeah. That was something they said. That was part of that franchise. That was going to be Hugh Jackman going through and doing the franchise, version of those movies. And... It didn't do that well. It flopped. There was too much stuff in it, and it was too weird, I guess, and nobody liked it. And now they're starting it again with Tom Cruise and this, elaborate, thing. So I don't think, they need to calm it the fuck down. They need to bring it down to earth and quit going so big with it. Like, just, make it to where somebody finds them in Egypt when they're looking for it on some live TV show. Shit goes weird, and it starts. Don't go with this, world-changing, this mummy creature is going to take over the world and it's going to change forever. It's like, calm the fuck down.
Why not start with Frankenstein? I feel like
there you go. That would be fun as shit.
Or they could have been slick and instead of doing that stupid Dracula Unchained movie that they did a couple of years ago, why not drop a Dracula movie in the?
Sorry. Wait, no, the Dracula.
That shit.
Wait, no, the Dracula movie that came out a couple of years ago. Or sorry, this is their fourth attempt then, because Dracula's supposed to be the beginning of that.
Was that Universal?
There's their fourth attempt. Yeah. Yeah, Dracula is Universal. So this was their fourth attempt.
Well, here's my thing about the Universal monster movies. They were great back in the day, and I like them and respect them, and they're actually just fun to watch. But with Dracula, instead of putting out a period piece, which historically those don't make tons of money, why not put out a badass Dracula movie set in the 30s when Twilight was big and market it as the man's vampire film? And then you have Twilight, which is the joke vampire film, and kind of have like a when vampires were relevant. Because if you put out a vampire movie now, people are coming off Twilight and whatever. They're not even part of the lexicon.
That's true.
I think, especially back then.
I do like the idea of doing Frankenstein first because you can add a horror element to it and bring that crowd in as well. And you could really do that. I don't know if Victor Frankenstein was part of that franchise or not. I think it was just something that somebody did on the side. I could be wrong.
Well, there was the one with Aaron
really
Eckhart, and that one wasn't.
I Frankenstein.
Fuck that! Oh, fuck that, man. That one was a fucking joke.
Well, it's just funny that everyone is still on this universe, like a shared universe train. I feel like we're almost past the shared universe train station. It's like, okay, it only really works with Marvel. Maybe DC works a bit.
Why do you think that's the case, though? I mean, because that was, I Frankenstein was around
2014.
Yeah, 2013.
It's not that old. I'll look it up.
So, like, what is it? I mean, outside of Marvel comic books having this crazy universe, why?
Oh,
why
2014
shared universe thing. I mean, obviously,
I could
DC's
tell you why.
thing is
because Marvel. Here's the thing, and this is boiled down to its purest essence. Marvel took the time to set shit up, and it took 4 years to get to the Avengers. All these other movies are like, well, we don't have this time, so everyone's like jumping on. Like, we're going to start at like the second chapter of the book, and everyone's like, I don't know where I am, and they don't care.
So what? So I guess that's actually a good point. Dion agreed, but I think the only attempt I can think of is you had the Fast and the Furious movies, and then you had Tokyo Drift was the best attempt at a shared universe. Why didn't that take off outside of it being not that great of a movie?
I don't know if that's technically like a shared universe because it's just all Fast and
that
Furious.
that didn't take off because you didn't have any of the actors from the first movie at all. In the movie in itself.
Yeah, he was at the very end.
Yeah. You can't bookend the movie with like one of the people from the first movie. You have to have them like in it. At least
you have to advertise them.
Yeah, that's a thing. And Tokyo Drift is kind of like it's kind of like Halloween 3. It's part of that franchise, but it's not part of that franchise.
That's probably like the worst example that you could have thought of.
I was gonna say that's a great analogy, though. I love it. For the listeners out there, go watch the original Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It's a movie.
It was made for an amount of money.
It existed in a time frame of the 80s and Tom Atkins.
and his mustache. Don't forget his mustache.
Yeah, Tom Atkins' mustache.
I keep forgetting how much Nick loves Tom Atkins' mustache. That was a very intense topic in Florida.
That's true. You did go on about it a couple times.
I'm sorry. I mean, and that's why in the fog he dies because he doesn't have it.
Oh.
It's actually a very good point.
My aunt and cousin met him, and they said what a nice guy he was.
Oh, yeah, he's super nice.
All right, so what do we got next on the news?
So in Australia, Netflix has been testing price hikes based on what day of the week you sign up. So, for instance, the model that they're using down there, if you happen to sign up on a Saturday or Sunday, they're going to charge you $2 a month extra for some reason.
This is like when Rome burned, like it got destroyed. Netflix had a great plan. Don't try to like dick people out of money. You're already fucking us over by cutting your film selection down to nothing.
Oh yeah,
and giving us bullshit. Like, Netflix original series. I was quick tangent. I tried watching Chappelle's stand-up, not funny. Tried watching Louis C.K.'s newest show, very disappointing from Louis C.K. I don't want your shit, Netflix. Like, just let me watch old movies and TV shows. Mm-hmm. Don't try to give me bells and whistles. Don't give me bullshit. And don't try to fuck the prices up.
But you have Good Burger that's been on there since the beginning.
True, and you also had It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which stays there. And those are fine examples of what I want. Stuff that I don't want to buy on DVD or Blu-ray, but stuff that I'd love to just watch, at a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, flesh. And yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before, where in 2012 they had 15,000 movies, and now they have 5,000. So, and they've charged, and there's been a price hike even for people who have been grandfathered in. Like it's ridiculous. And even then, they've gone to a global. They become a global thing now. They're no longer just in the U.S. or in Canada or in Australia. They're all over the world now. So I don't know how much fucking money they need to be like, all right, we're gonna gonna start buying movies to show you guys again. Like, you need to get back to that.
They're gonna put themselves out of fucking business, and I'm not gonna be too sorry to see it happen.
Well, they're about $3 billion in the hole right now. So,
well, I mean, if Nintendo didn't have a hit with the Switch, I think Nintendo. If the Switch was a failure, we wouldn't have seen another Nintendo home console. Because even the biggest companies that are cash reserve rich can fail. Like, after a certain point, people are going to pull out, investors will pull out, all kinds of things can happen. And I mean, look at Blockbuster. Yeah, Blockbuster's model aged, but they could have updated and changed. Netflix is like trying to change before anyone wants it to change. No one's asking for these changes or the different things, you know? Like, remember everyone was going on and on about the thumbs up, thumbs down? Like, that's another use. Luckily on my PlayStation, it's still the star rating system.
Yes, mine too.
Nice.
It hasn't changed, and I don't want it to change.
Well, I think that one got such a crazy-ass backlash, but again, I think Netflix is unique in that you brought up a great point. Blockbuster. They put Blockbuster the fuck out of business, and I think that Netflix is trying to avoid that with Hulu, although preemptively, they're doing a very bad job of trying to weather the storm. Obviously, taking down the amount of movies. And plus, the other part of their plan is to backlog shit. So they still have a lot of movies, but they try to do that rotating schedule bullshit. And that's the other bad thing. It's like, just put it all out at once instead of, well, this month they're gone, because they've done it with Beverly Hills Cop. Multiple times they take it off and put it back on. And then the same thing with the Marvel movies. It's just like, just keep them on all the time, and let the quality of what you're doing speak for itself, which is what's fucking them up the ass right now.
Well, like, the thing that pisses me off is they'll put out, like, for example, one month they'll have Beverly Hills Cop. Then the next month they'll take off Beverly Hills Cop and put Beverly Hills Cop 2 on.
Yeah.
Why can't I just watch them all together like you're saying? The worst is when they do it with a fucking series. I can't give an honest answer for that.
No, and I hate that they'll put like the first one on and leave the other two off, and they'll put the other two on and leave the first one off. It's like, why can't you have all of them at once? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's what's so weird, right?
Yeah, I'd like to ask you guys an honest question. Can you just play devil's advocate? Can you justify them changing that price for a weekend subscriber?
Absolutely not. There's no reason that if I'm buying a month service and I just happen to buy it on a Saturday, that I should pay more. In their mind, it's probably, if they buy it on a Saturday, they're going to binge watch. So we can milk them for their money because they're going to feel like, it's worth that value because, they get 48 hours in a row where they can just fuck around or whatever. I got a bold prediction really quick, if you don't mind.
Of course, that's what the show is based on.
I think Disney's next big purchase is going to be Netflix. Ooh. I think we'll see in the next couple of years Disney actually taking over the reins of Netflix.
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of, that makes sense.
I would love and hate that at the same time because Disney has a great back catalog, and it would be nice to have Netflix subscription and then be able to watch all my Marvel movies and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of weird shit on Netflix, and I know when Disney owns that, they're gonna. I'm not saying I want the weird avant-garde.
That's why I think that's not gonna work. I think to Kuckin's point, they will try. I think Netflix will not take it because outside of some of the shitty shows, the other shows that are decent, you can't do that under Disney's banner. And even like that Jason Momoa show Frontier, which is just violence pretty much for the sake of watching Jason Momoa hack dudes apart. Even with Marvel shit, I mean, obviously they have Daredevil and Disney's approval. I don't think when Disney comes around, you can't say fuck.
No.
And even so, I think a lot of the movies that they have in reserve, those old B and C level movies that are obnoxiously violent and have a lot of curse words in it, you can't do that under Disney's banner. And I think they'll hold fast for that stuff. And
it's fun to have a Netflix account. Go ahead.
I think Netflix is, if they are $3 billion in the hole, Disney waves $4 billion at them like they did for Star Wars. They buy it. Then they can put more strict parental controls so you can have a tougher kids section where you have all the lighthearted stuff. But they will keep the adult stuff too because that appeals to a lot of people.
But then, like, are they going to treat it as a channel service and be like, well, if you want all of it, you're going to have to pay. Like, if you just want the kids stuff, it's going to be this much.
Nope.
Or if you just want the Disney stuff, it's going to be this much.
No, I think they'll keep the same business model, and they'll just make sure that 7-year-olds can't pick up the remote and go watch Love, where there's like 4 cum shots.
Here's one thing: I'm cool if they make it harder for a kid to watch, but if I have to like put in a password and shit every time I log into a Netflix account, I'm gonna just stick with Hulu because even without the shit that we're hypothetically discussing in a hypothetical manner, I watch Hulu 9 times out of 10 because it has shit I actually want to watch. Netflix is getting it's hard. Okay, first off, there's so many options, and the shit that's there doesn't appeal to me. I gotta sit and read through 15 different titles before I decide to watch something. With Hulu, it's like, well, I wanted to catch Interstellar in theaters, but I missed it. But there's Interstellar, so I'm going to watch it. And I know it's something I do want to watch. Yeah, Netflix is nice to catch hidden gems, but the whole, like, I'll just wait for it on Netflix, like, mentality is kind of gone because Netflix doesn't really get the big hits anymore. That goes to Hulu. And Hulu, they got the Indiana Jones trilogy. They had all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies for a while. They just have all kinds of shit that, like, a backlog of stuff that people want to watch because it's, like, popular.
The other side of that is I think that even though they're $3 billion in the hole, Netflix knows that they can go back to certain practices that'll get them revenue as opposed to, you know, when you think of, like, how George Lucas sold to Disney, he did it to get out of the game. I don't think that you're not going to have people at Netflix selling to Disney to stay out at Netflix. They're not going to be doing that with the idea that, okay, we'll still be able to do what we want to do at this point. Though that's a different. I mean, you know, like I said,
if they know how to get back to being profitable, they do it already.
This dumb bullshit. Let's add those other 10,000 movie titles.
Well, no, if they.
My point, and I don't know if there was some lag or something, but my point against that, Dion, is that, like I said, if you're right and they could just go back to making money at the snap of a finger, why aren't they doing it already? You don't get to a point where you're $3 billion in the hole and then go fuck. Like at that point, your hole's pretty deep.
Well, let's talk quick conspiracy weird shit. I think, and I've said this before, and Dion won't like it, but Netflix definitely has a certain type of slant that they really aim for. They want the trendy, young, left-leaning side. I don't, and it's kind of just obvious. It's not even like I'm reading into it. The shit they talk about. Exactly. Yeah. Well, they're heavily left-leaning. I'm not saying that,
and I'm saying that.
Yeah. I was saying, it's not going to turn a lot of people off, but the shit they're producing. I mean, Stranger Things was a hit because it appeals to everybody. The Marvel shit's a hit because it's based on the Marvel shit. Like Orange is the New Black and all that stuff is kind of losing like its footing. Per se, I think it's just they're on like a fucking agenda to produce this kind of left-leaning content. If they were to kind of right the ship, like we'll use The Rock as an example. Notice how The Rock doesn't really talk politics. The Rock doesn't do certain things publicly. But have you noticed everybody seems to like the dude? It's because he plays that game where he can appeal to everybody without offending anybody, but seem like a real person. Netflix needs to not do that. Meaning, it needs to do that. Meaning, like, stop producing content that's only going to appeal to one thing, or, like, put on stand-up comedians that are just going to shit on people that, you know, might be members. Just have something for everybody. They're just too one-dimensional right now.
Absolutely. Dear White People is the embodiment of their whole...
Did you watch Dear White People?
I have a coworker who talks about it almost daily.
Okay, so you didn't watch it at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you just didn't watch it because of the name? That's why.
Well, I didn't watch it because of the name. I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it after I'm hearing what my coworker is telling me happens in the show. And all it does is just shit on white people and make us look like idiots.
Plus, I'm not going to watch it because I saw the movie and I didn't like the movie. So
yeah, see, that's fine. You watch the movie, that's fine. Cuckin McNeese is just like, well, somebody said, you know, it's bad. I'm not going to watch it. Like, watch it. Then
you've never done that before. You've never not watched something because of what you've heard from somebody else.
I really try not to.
Okay.
For me, that's just a waste of time. Like, if I know, like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm a clairvoyant, but I know what's going to appeal to me and what's not going to appeal to me. Rough Night, that Scarlett Johansson movie, is not going to appeal to me, so I'm not going to go see it. I don't need to watch some fucking movie about 5 drunk women that accidentally kill a stripper. Like, I know enough. In a trailer.
Plus, you've already seen
and they're well, and they've it sounds like they're copying. What is it? The
Hangover and Bad Things.
Very bad things. Yeah, it sounds like they're copying that. It's just like, what are you doing?
I think that's another reason. I mean, I'm not trying to get onto that again, but why a lot of these female-driven things don't take off, because it's just a take on something that exists. Come up with something wholly original. Like, no one complains when you come up with something wholly original, but when it's like, hey, this is the female version of this movie, it's like, okay, well, it's the same fucking story. I don't think your slight plot twists are going to be enough to warrant, like, a whole nother movie. No one's going to give that much of a shit.
So how is Dear White People? Nick, how is Dear White People?
I haven't seen it, therefore I don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I can just speak for me. I saw the movie. I thought one of the women in the movie was cute, but I mean, I'm half black, half white. I really don't like either side shitting on either side, so I don't watch any of that kind of shit. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, it does seem it does seem like it is quite heavy-handed, but I didn't see it, so.
Well, I'm just saying that's what we're living in right now. It's this heavy-handed society where it's like this. The funny thing is, we talked about the pendulum last week. It's definitely going in the opposite direction. For good or bad, I don't know. But like I said, the next, I say 5 years, entertainment-wise, is going to be interesting because all the people that were up in arms about Donald Trump have kind of just shut up. Like, I'm not saying he's this great president that's putting everyone, it's making everyone be like, oh, well, I guess I was wrong. Just people are just shutting up about it. You got a few fringe, like even, what's her name, Lena Dunham, who was like, oh, I'm a fucking vessel for Hillary Clinton. Like, her ass is shut up.
Well, that's an exceptional example because she says some dumbass shit.
But that's what I'm saying, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if her ass is shut up, most people are shut up, and they don't care. And we're like over that Donald Trump hump, but you've pissed off enough people to where now there's going to be a reaction, even when like Hollywood's like, "Hey, we're kind of pushing this down your throat." People are going to be like, "No, like we've lived through this shit so long. We're tired of being talked down to. We're tired of this. We're tired of that." It's a whole thing we'll get into at a later date.
Yeah, like I watched. What did I watch? I watched 13 Reasons Why last couple of days, just because I was bored. And I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And it was about 10 episodes too fucking long.
Is it the teen suicide show or whatever?
Yep.
I now this isn't a dig at you because we're actually friends.
It was.
So don't take it like
yeah,
this.
teen suicide sucks and killing stuff's bad. But this girl. Do what now?
No, sorry, there was a huge lag in the podcast.
Yeah.
All I was just getting ready to say is this isn't market or aligned at you, but like I was seeing.
Yeah. That's what it is. Like the girl. The girl, the girl kills herself, and she leaves 13 tapes and 13 people. Like apparently caused her suicide, but it's like she was her family was fine. She was okay. She did somewhat good in school. She had a couple of good friends, and then like they shit on her. But like that's high school. That's life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we all dealt with it.
And then she's like, okay, she sees one of her friends get raped. Like she's in the room. Her friend gets raped. She doesn't say anything.
You're talking about a shitty property right now. I think you're touching on something that's very important in terms of entertainment. Hollywood's touching on things that we already know, and it's not bringing anything new to the table. So in terms of people killing themselves, like, is it that show, is it bad? Yeah. Is it happening a lot for people of that age group? Yeah. But again, the thing that people are tired of is this constant need to portray it like you don't know what's going on, where the reaction is, I mean, yeah, I do. Watching a movie's not going to fucking fix that, or watching a Netflix show isn't going to fix that. And I think that's the fucking the differentiating factor that a lot of people are finally catching on to.
And all the people that I've seen recommend this show, I don't like.
No, I mean, I watch it because of pure morbid curiosity. And, time of day, and I watch every episode, and I was just like, this is, exactly, 13, 3 episodes too long, because you had her best friend get raped, then she got raped, and then she wanted to kill herself. And then you had the resolution of, and do what now?
I'm like, 2 rapes is a bit much in a teen drama.
It is.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they showed it in a very convincing way. But
was there penetration?
No, you didn't see that. They just kind of had like the guy behind her lazily just like laying there like a dead doll, pulling down the panties, the guy pulling down his shorts in the hot tub and taking off her bra and like that thing, and then they had her like walking home barefoot, like in this trance, like shit went down, and they conveyed the idea that way.
Oh. So the first time that Cuckin slobbed a knob, then.
What?
He hadn't talked in a minute, and I'm just like,
We haven't had enough beer tonight to get into that. I'm just like, whoa. Like, we're still sober, man. We need to be shit-faced.
Walked home in a trance, man. That's what got me interested.
I've seen many girls walk home in a trance from the walk of shame. That's the first thing I thought of.
That's like the first part where you know that you're like, yep, this is college.
Yeah,
when you see chicks walking home in that.
And the funny part is, like, they're going to go home unfulfilled and be like, wow, my life kind of sucks. But they're not going to kill themselves. They're just going to think about it, and then...
Right. And obviously that's different than rape, but it's just like...
Yeah.
Like, we all know...
Yeah, this girl takes a week and, like, gets the tapes together.
Seriously raped in high school. You know, like, I feel like that show didn't touch on that the way that you would think that it should be.
No, it literally just went on and about her, like, revenge, basically, of, like, making these people feel insignificant and making the grieving process way the fuck longer than it should have been. And fucking, like, basically messing with their parents as well by not having to listen to the tapes. And you saw them lash out and, you know, grieving and things like that. And it was just really shitty, and it was too fucking long. That's all it was.
Well, I hate to be that guy that's going to be closed-minded, but I'm just not... I know this sounds mean. I don't like teenagers, so I'm not going to watch shit about them. They sound
like my mom.
Maybe, you know, we're kindred spirits.
Right.
But all I'm getting at is, like...
two small black children?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my kids will be a quarter black, so it's close. Pretty close. Whatever. There's still some color in them. No, all I'm getting at is, like, I'm not a teenager. I don't care about the problems that plague teenagers today. I'm not a fucking teacher. I don't interact with people of that age group. So a piece of entertainment based on them doesn't really appeal to me in any way. So, without knowing the premise of the show and knowing the people that I've heard suggest it that are weirdos, I'm just going to pass on it overall. Like, I'll never watch the show.
Yeah.
Unless I had, like, a date or some girl that wanted to watch it with me. That's the only way I'd ever watch this fucking show.
Yeah, but in there is the potential to get blown or more, so it's fine.
Don't give my fucking game plan out over the internet, dude. All right?
I'm sorry.
I sat through the Lovely Bones and got laid. I got laid. Hey, Curtis was there too. Got laid that night. It was the worst sex ever. It was really awkward because she cried in the fucking movie.
So was he there while you were getting laid, or was he?
I mean, he filmed. No, I'm just joking. No, he was in the movie. It was there. No, did you go, Curtis, or no?
I went.
Okay, you were there. Okay, I thought it was Toph was there too, right?
I can't remember. I just remember seeing the Lovely Bones.
Okay, I think there were like 4 or 5 of us, and it was just a terrible experience.
I just like how Cuckin used that voice, and that voice alone makes me believe that, yeah, that was not a fun experience by anybody who was present, whoever the fuck it was.
No one enjoyed it. All I can say is, like, we watched a teenager get raped by Stanley Tucci.
Oh, no!
And die, and then we saw... The only good part of that movie was when Stanley Tucci fell off the thing. He got hit by an icicle and fell down the side of the mountain and died.
Doesn't he beat Mark Wahlberg's ass?
No, Mark... I don't remember, honestly. It's not neither here nor there. Let's just get on to the next topic, sir.
Thanks, Stanley.
So, Injustice 2 dropped on Tuesday. Have you guys played it? Do you guys have any plans to play it?
Phil bought the Super Mega Deluxe Edition for $800.
Dumbass.
What?
I watched the Let's Plays. I did not buy. I'm waiting till later because I actually pay attention to video games.
Phil has it, and he spent all the money he could on it, and he's probably at home playing it right now. So whatever. Personally, the first one was fun for $8 that I paid for it.
I paid $15.
Well, I win. I paid less. Shoe source. No, I'll get this one when it's cheap and it's the deluxe edition with all the DLC.
Thank you.
I played it yesterday or the day before, and it's kind of boring. Like, it didn't really add anything new to the fighting game. It's exactly like number 1, but with even more characters that I don't know who the fuck they are. So.
Just goes to show you the lack of DC brand recognition in the world right now.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously you know your big ones, your big 3, and then they have Darkseid, but you have to pre-order him or pay them like $5 to unlock him. Just stupid shit like that. I don't know. It wasn't fun.
It's a fucking fighting game. Why is there DLC? Why do you have to pay more to get characters? Just have them all on there to begin with.
A whole new issue with video games right now, man.
I know
Well,
this
it's
is...
just
No. Here's the thing. It's well, I know other games have that. That's fine. But the thing is that it's a fucking fighting game. It's like having Mortal Kombat like 23, and it's like, well, you have these 6 characters, but wait a little longer, and you'll be able to download these other 8 for like $20.
Mega Man in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, my problem is, they announced Marvel vs. Capcom, and like that later that day they announced the first 5 DLC characters, and I'm like, the motherfucking game's not out yet, and you have these DLC characters already. Like, why not put them on the disc? Why would you flaunt it to people immediately that they're getting an incomplete game?
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. I think all of us feel the same way. DLC is a
I
problem.
don't think anyone's going to disagree with any of that.
Now, I will say that the only time I'm willing to pay for DLC is in a wrestling game, because I feel like when you get the DLC in a wrestling game, you get so much more. Do I wish it would be on the disc right away? Yes. I also wish if they needed to charge me, I could just buy it all at once, because I hate waiting like 6 months to get a complete game. But with like fighting games, like you brought up Mortal Kombat, Nick. I didn't buy Mortal Kombat 10. It looked cool. You know what? I might buy XL if I'm going to buy a Mortal Kombat. There's no reason for me to own Mortal Kombat 10. Marvel vs. Capcom, was this 4? Or whatever it's called?
Yeah, 4.
There's no reason for me to buy the game until the year or two later when they announced the Deluxe Mega Hyper Edition with, like, Deadpool and Blind Owl and all this other dumb shit that they're going to add into the game. Like,
in 4K resolution, come on.
Yeah, on the TV that Phil bought, It's just Injustice looked like the same game.
Was it in 4K?
Yeah. Well, look, Injustice is like the same game that came out. Was it 6 or 8 years ago?
Less than that.
Okay, I don't remember exactly when Injustice came out. My point is, though, like it's the lamest DC game franchise I think that exists currently, and it's the only one because the story's shit. Well, Superman accidentally killed Lois Lane, and then he kills the Joker, and he goes on this tangent, and the stories are just whatever. It's like this Elseworlds thing, and I'm gonna play the artist for a minute. I hate the character designs. I think they're crappy. Like the Power Rangers movie, those designs sucked. I hate how the Injustice characters look. No, it's all the same thing. It's modern character design sucks. They all look similar to me.
But like, you're touching more so on character design, like so. Power Rangers now, opposed to Power Rangers when we knew them, is different. As opposed to DC Injustice to what we know. I mean, most people are going to know DC Injustice to DC as opposed to Power Rangers.
It's not about knowing the difference between Injustice to DC. It's like, I don't like how Batman looks. It's as simple as I don't like this artist's drawing. Right. I don't want the game. Like, for example, I own Injustice 1. I never used Injustice version Batman. I used New 52. Why? Because he looks like a version of Batman I like. So, why not... again, to my point, just wait for the other deluxe game with all the shit unlocked, and I can pick a good Batman. But that's why I'm not into these games that much. I don't like how the characters look. It's not
to your point, Jeff. When I first saw all the characters, I didn't like them either because just like with the Power Rangers, they all have like Iron Man-esque suits, like just like military grades. I'm used to like the skin tight bodysuits, not these like segmented metal fucking. I don't even know how to describe them besides shit.
No, you're
basically Batman armor kind of thing.
Yeah, like you brought up the Iron Man suit. I saw a Let's Play today for Injustice 2, and Cyborg looked like Iron Man. He had a gold and yellow armor. Yeah. And I was like, is that Iron Man in this game? No, it's not. But I'm just saying, like, everything to me is over-designed, and it's a problem. Like, I'll give Marvel vs. Capcom credit. The new one, the trailer that came out, the characters looked how they should look to me. I think Japanese influence in art in general is a good thing, because their design sensibilities are like less is more, and they stay true to the character. To them, it's not like they're trying to reinvent the character for branding purposes. It's like, this is Iron Man in our game, and this is how he would look in our world, but it's the same character. That's why I'm cool with that. Like, Captain America looks like Captain America. He doesn't have like a fucking helmet strapped thing with like a different shaped shield and all this other dumb crap, and over-designed boots with jetpacks and shit like that. That would be the Injustice Captain America, if that was a possibility. Okay, what's next?
So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, he's playing Black Adam in the DCEU, and he pretty much said that he will be battling Henry Cavill's Superman on screen.
If they make it that far.
I mean, I know I've been rambling on about shit with The Rock lately, but look, Rock, directly to you who will never hear this podcast. Love you, man. You're my favorite wrestler, but you get so excited, and you get attached to shit. Like, Hercules Didn't see it. Wasn't that interested. Like,
It's actually pretty good.
I don't think him as Black Adam's going to save the DCEU or, to Dion's point, even happen. Because I don't think Justice League is going to be this big hit. I say Justice League is kind of just like a thing that happens and people go, oh, either saw it or I didn't. Thanksgiving, I'm busy, whatever. And I don't know.
Well, I know. He tried making Spy Hunter a movie for fucking years, and that went nowhere.
Yeah, I bought that game for PS2.
Yeah, he was in it. And it's like, oh, the movie's coming out. It's like, nope.
No, but The Rock was going to play Johnny Bravo for the longest time.
Yep.
That was a thing.
Oh God,
for like a decade. Oh, Johnny Bravo starring Dwayne Johnson. Nope. I don't think The Rock... it's funny that The Rock would be in the DC universe. I feel like Marvel should have thrown money at him just to pop up as any character. But he doesn't look like any character, so I guess I can understand why he's not in it.
Well, I going off of the it being The Rock point, I think, or not the it being The Rock, him bringing it up, when I think that that's a part of it. I definitely think that DC was like, hey, you just got released as the most
Highest paid actor?
Highest paid actor. Thank you very much. You're the highest paid actor right now. Mention this movie so we get people to go watch Wonder Woman and Justice League. To the flip side of that, I hope it happens. I would like to see a Rock Black Adam, but the cynical motherfucker that watched the Suicide Squad, that shit ain't gonna happen, bruh. Good luck. I hope fucking Jumanji looks pretty good.
Oh God, I forgot about that fucking movie.
oh God.
I don't think enough people care about Superman anymore. So The Rock, I don't think The Rock's hyping anybody up at this point. I know for me personally, somebody who considers myself a big fan of the guy, go wrestle one more match.
I mean,
I'll drive 1,000 miles to watch you wrestle. I won't pay $10 to watch you fight.
Fly. We'll fly.
I honestly think Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man are all in the same boat. Like, they've been remade so many times and so often that we know everybody knows their story. Everybody knows who they are. And you can't keep doing the origin story all the fucking time because you're redoing it again. Like, just go directly into the story and just start. We know who they are.
Well, I don't think the Black Adam story is going to be an origin story. I think that even it not being a origin story isn't going to help. I think, going back to the first story, the brand is damaged. DC's movie franchise is damaged. I think this story's been told since Suicide Squad. I think that Wonder Woman's going to further tell the exact same fucking story. And I think that no matter how many times you point to people and say, hey guy, remember how The Rock's in this? That's not going to fucking help it. And like I said, it isn't going to... He could sit there and say, hey, I'm Black Adam, I fuck a chick, and I fight Superman. That is not going to fucking help.
Yeah, sorry, Rock.
So after two of its directors already left, supposedly Warner has narrowed down their search for a new Flash director between three men, Matthew Vaughn, Robert Zemeckis, and Sam Raimi. And then the latest news coming out right after that initial report was that both Matthew Vaughn and Sam Raimi said they don't want to be a part of it. So it's looking like Robert Zemeckis is probably going to be Flash's new director.
And for those who don't know, my favorite movie is Back to the Future. Robert Zemeckis directed that. I don't think he's a good fit.
No.
A Flash movie, you know who would do a decent job, and I'm not trying to sound too fanboyish, but Kevin Smith could, because he's involved with the TV show, and he's weird enough to the Flash.
Definitely.
I don't think Robert Zemeckis has a great directing style. He's just kind of a name who's attached to really good movies. I'll say Forrest Gump is a good movie, even though I've never seen all of it. I love the Back to the Future movies. I'm sure Flight was a good movie. The stuff Robert Zemeckis does is considered, good critically and financially. Because of Castaway, I'm just saying he doesn't really have, a voice. Spielberg has a certain style. George Lucas had a style. A bad one, but still, he had a style. Fucking Robert Zemeckis is going to make the most boring... I think Robert Zemeckis is old, and the studio is just going to be do this, and he's just going to do whatever they tell him.
Yeah, he's just going to be... He's just going to be the fucking name. That's all it is.
So Secret Empire number 2, that just... has it dropped yet?
I think yesterday.
Has yet another reality-shattering twist in that the end of the book closes with a mysterious hero helping a woman who just got beat up. And that man is Steve Rogers.
Okay.
Do you think it's almost funny how bad some of the shit's going down in that storyline? Like how it's being perceived?
I think they tested the waters with Captain America being Hydra a few months ago, and people were like, fuck that. And they're like, well, we've already started with the story, but we can switch it up here. And I think here's the turning point where they go, oh, how do we make them happy? Let's have that not be the real Steve Rogers, and this whole thing was it's just fucking stupid. They just keep writing themselves into a stupider and stupider corner. Like,
I think people are mad too, like genuinely upset.
Well, no, I think, and they have reason to be, and so we're already mad going into it, and then you have this twist. Now you go, oh, now I'm even more fucking pissed because you had me mad this whole time for nothing. Like, at this point, Marvel can't win because they don't deserve to win. They just keep fucking up and they keep shitting on people.
That's a great point. I don't know if I feel any differently. All I can tell you is they should just have canceled not canceled the story, but like, okay, they announced that like they're never gonna. Okay, for 18 months they're not gonna do another big crossover event. They've essentially apologized for the story before it even came out. I think they should have just bit the bullet and released like one trade of this book and kind of just like brushed it under the rug as quick as possible. It's just like it keeps dragging itself out and it's shitting on the carpet the whole time. It's like that old dog you need to get rid of. Like as you drag it out for one final, time, it just shits everywhere. And just
no man, just take that dog out to the yard and shoot it in the fucking head and get it over with.
That's what I'm saying. They're on the way to wipe the or take out the dog, but like it just keeps shitting everywhere. And this fucking storyline, man. Like I'm not trying to sound morbid or mean because I like comic books, but fuck you, Marvel. Come on.
Yeah, because now they have 3 Captain Americas in this universe, right? They have Black Captain America, Evil Captain America, and blonde-hair, blue-eyed Captain America. So it's just fucking stupid.
That's DC shit, because DC always had, multiple Earths. Marvel just had one reality, the 616. Later on, I know they had alternate realities, and I don't need to hear a fucking comment about the Ultimate Universe, believe me. I understand how that shit works. You don't understand how that shit works. So you're not really teaching me anything at this point. All you're doing is typing on a keyboard and bothering me. So I understand how that shit works. Marvel's always been, historically, the one universe type of deal, and that was easy to follow. They didn't try to do these multiverse stories. It doesn't fit with their brand.
Yeah, it's just once a story gets so convoluted that like there's no reason to keep reading. It reminds me of like you brought up the end of the Clone Saga, how it just started getting more and more fucking twisty and stupid and nonsensical. They're already doing that at issue 2 of this event.
And man, I hate the writer. I think the art's just okay. I can't really shit on the artist. The book's just it's hard to like find something enjoyable from this. The only thing I can take away that I enjoy is laughing at Marvel's failure. They deserve this.
What if in 30 years when they redo the Marvel universe, they pull from these comics?
That's what I think. That's why I think people are upset, because they're worried that this is going to be the future of the character and the franchise. And Marvel Studios is smarter, because Kevin Feige is an old school comic book fan. He's not. Okay, here's one thing about comic book fans that piss me off. You got these people that are fans because it's trendy and new, and you got these people that work on it because they can't get work anywhere else. They're good enough to do comics, but they're not good enough to do anything else. So you got these people that are either angry and bitter, or they're only into it because it's trendy. But then you got Kevin Feige, who's old school, who like respects the characters and the legacy, and as long as he's involved, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be that respect. I think fans, though, are shitting on these new interpretations because, one, they don't like them, and two, they don't want that to become what the character becomes in the future. They'll be stuck with a fucking Nazi Captain America, and I'm so tired of reading comics. Hydra's not the Nazi. It's a fucking
absolutely
parallel
is.
to it.
If you don't think that's fucking Nazi, you're dense. You're fucking dense. And it was their way of using Nazis without having to put swastikas all over their books.
And the fucking 900 comments I've gotten on that video.
Yeah,
you need to listen to this.
Hydra was around since the Egyptian days, and they just happened to partner with the Hydra, or with the Nazis. And just like, shut the fuck up.
I don't know if these people can distinguish the difference between a backstory written for the characters,
an
or like
actual
why it
backstory,
exists, like why Stan Lee and company were involved and did it a certain way. So I'm sorry that you can't like separate yourself from the kayfabe version of the story as opposed to what really is going on. It's not my responsibility to like know you. It's my responsibility.
But it makes you look bad, Jeff, because you complimented comic book readers as generally of higher intelligence. But I've seen a lot of comments that they're to the contrary.
Do you think, though, and this is what I think, this is why I don't take it too personally, is there's a thing called Comics Explained, there's a comic story. You can read a comic book story without actually reading a comic, so I don't think a lot of people actually read comics that are commenting on the video. I think they watch other YouTube video series about comics, and they call themselves fans, but they don't actually know what the stories are about. They just read another person's interpretation of the story. It's like a big game of telephone. So the source material, the shit that we would read, is not accessed by them. They're just taking some other asshole's words and regurgitating them as their own. The shit we say on the show is what we're interpreting from the actual
first-hand
source.
experience.
Yeah. That's why I'm not taking it, because I don't consider those people real comic book fans. Like, who are you to determine who's a real fan? I am one to determine who's a real fan, because if you don't experience the material, then you're not a comic book fan. You're a fan of Rob from Comics Explained. You're not a Marvel fan. You just like whatever's popular at the minute. You don't take the time to read the story.
Well, let's go on to something a little more positive and fun. There's a lawsuit being put forth by a 37-year-old man for the woman he took on a first date texting during Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He is suing her for $17.31 because he said during the course of 15 minutes she read and responded to 20 different texts and ruined his experience.
Well, that heartless bitch ruined Baby Groot, so I hope he wins in court.
No, absolutely. I think a lot of people are going, oh, that's why he's, going on first dates when he's 37. He doesn't know how to treat a woman. That bitch is ruining the experience for everyone in the theater.
It's annoying. Believe me.
I don't ever think that someone should be in their phone. I think, obviously, one, I'm very surprised that Cuckin isn't the guy to sit around and say something to somebody about being on their phone. We'll get past that later. But two, even if they don't, like, I personally wouldn't sue somebody. I could see why someone would sue someone for that shit, especially on a first date, because there's a lot of emotional bullshit that goes into that. I hope he wins, but again, I'm not going to be heartbroken or surprised when he doesn't. Like I said, that one. God, I hope she gets the fucking. The
book thrown at her, that evil harlot.
Thank you, that evil harlot. You fucking piece of shit. Go outside in the hallway.
Yeah, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but definitely I think the worst thing when I go to a theater is either when people have their babies or their cell phones out. Both of them are ridiculous and shouldn't be allowed. Anyway, next news story. At the Cannes Film Festival, a poster was cited promoting the forthcoming Hellboy reboot called Hellboy: Rise of the Blood Queen, and it says it's coming out in 2018.
Yay, more Hellboy discussions on this podcast.
I love how they have them. They don't have the money for part 3, but somehow they have the money to reboot the whole fucking franchise. That's real nice.
Well, Ron Perlman is old as fuck. Not to mention, Guillermo del Toro is fucking putting his hand in everything instead of focusing on one fucking thing. My whole problem is I don't want to see a horror movie level Hellboy. Just fucking give me the third movie.
We're in the Amazing Spider-Man 3 dilemma.
Yep.
We couldn't put the time and money into making the sequel that people would actually want and continue a franchise. So we got to restart it to pay the people that make it less money. It's a greedy move by Universal, I think, who owns the rights. Yep. It's a stupid decision.
Oh yeah, entirely.
So, moving on, South Park's the Fractured Butthole video game has yet its 4th release date, and supposedly it's going to come out October 17th. The game was originally supposed to come out on 12/6 of 2016. Dion, you played the Stick of Truth, right?
Yeah. Hillary played it. I didn't play it, but yeah.
And everyone I've talked to that did play it said it was amazing. It was a fun RPG, chock full of references. Did she have that same experience?
She did. She And obviously, as you know, Cuckin, she loves that. You know, and it was very much that. Not only that, but as far as the gameplay, it was enough to it didn't feel like you were watching an episode of the show. It actually felt like a video game. So it was South Park plus a video game that actually worked surprisingly well.
Do any of you guys plan on pre-ordering this game or buying it after it gets discounted or anything like that?
Discounted,
No.
yeah. I wouldn't say pre-order. I think we'll definitely go with, the discount after it's been released already, but not enough to pre-order it.
I hate RPGs, so I'll never buy this game.
No, I mean I played the first one on N64, and I think I'm good. I'm good.
Yep. So Mace Windu is getting his own comic. It's going to be a 5-issue run that starts in August, and it takes place at the beginning of the Clone Wars. Thoughts?
Could be cool. I mean, I guess I got to keep an open mind, but I'll be honest. I'm not going to go buy this book because... And I'm not trying to sound super cynical on tonight's show, but you guys know this, and we have so many new listeners, I have to reiterate it. I don't buy anything from the Star Wars eras that's not the original trilogy. Seriously, I'm not... It's cool. I hope it's a great series. I'm sure if it's great, I might go check it out online. But unless it's like episodes 4 through 6, I don't buy it. So
Yeah, but
I think it's a cool concept.
We already know what happened with Mace Windu during the Clone Wars, so I don't see the point in even them doing this.
But Nick, you're ruining Disney's business model. Their plan was to take Star Wars, buy it, cancel the other stories out, then retell those stories.
No.
Again.
Their business model is to take you into the alley, fuck the shit out of you, leave you cold and alone, and take your wallet. That's their business model.
All right, Joe Pesci from Lethal Weapon, calm the fuck down over there.
Okay.
They fuck you in the drive-thru.
I love that movie so much.
It's really good.
Whatever you want, Leo gets.
I have never liked Mace Windu. I thought he was a pompous, arrogant prick in all the movies. And everyone says, "Oh, he's just as good as Yoda, if not better. He's one of the greatest." Whenever I look up like best Jedi, he's always up there with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Yoda. But what did he ever do besides just be an asshole and drive Anakin to the dark side? I mean, what did he really do?
Nothing. I think. Okay, I don't want to sound super mean when I say this, but the people that write those lists cannot separate the pop culture relevance of Samuel L. Jackson and the
that's what it
importance
is.
of the character.
That's what it is.
Like in relevancy to Star Wars, Tamara Morrison's very important, but in pop culture, he's a nobody. So, and that's Jango Fett for the layperson that doesn't know who Tamara Morrison is. I think Mace Windu sucks. I know, let's go back to 1999. We were all excited for Episode 1. They made it seem like Mace Windu was going to be this great Jedi. His toy looked cool. He came with a lightsaber. His toy actually came with a blue lightsaber because, as we all know, Episode 1, Mace Windu never draws a lightsaber or does anything cool. He sits in a fucking room.
They actually had some version where he had a green lightsaber.
Yeah, I'm just saying, they packaged him with a lightsaber toy that was not like in the movie. He was marketed to be cool, and he kind of sucked. When he fights in Episode 2, it's not amazing. And I think Episode 2 is the only time he really does anything besides the 2 scenes in Episode 3. I don't like him as a character. I like Samuel L. Jackson as an actor, but Mace Windu can kiss my ass.
His character, honestly, he's just a prick. I don't know how else to describe him. He is mean to everyone. And one of my least favorite things on a meta level is all these people that are like, his lightsaber's purple because he learned how to balance the light and the dark side, like blue lightsaber plus red lightsaber, man. I'm just like, no, he wanted a purple lightsaber so he could see himself on screen when he's in that giant lightsaber fight. It has nothing to do with the actual story. It's just he wanted to be different. He wanted to stand out. And then they retroactively go in and try to explain he's so powerful, man. He mixes light and dark. Where did he learn the dark? Where did he learn the fucking dark? The first time he encountered a Sith was when he comes across Palpatine in Episode 3 and they fight. Everyone's like...
And he dies.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's such a good fucking warrior. He's the greatest guy to go against the Sith. He does it one time and he gets killed. He sucks. He sucks.
First of all, he beats Palpatine.
He didn't beat Palpatine. Palpatine let him get the advantage.
Played it off? Yeah, you're one of those guys?
That knows how to interpret what's happening on screen, yes.
His is a sarcastic laugh. Mine was genuine. He kind of got you there.
So anyway, yeah, Mace Windu's a bitch, and he got killed, rightfully so, and I hope he never comes back.
Do you think the way Mace Windu treated Anakin led to the rise of Darth Vader?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Anakin is Anakin's a slave who just got ripped away from the only person who's ever loved him, his mom. and he gets put in this thing where he's already emotionally disturbed, and they go, "Oh, by the way, you can't have emotions. You're stuck with us, and you can't feel anything." And then every time that he tries getting respect or recognition or career advancement, Mace Windu fucking just shits on him.
Career advancement? This is not a 9 to 5.
He's moving up the ranks, all right? Trying to make it a real world.
Yeah, okay, all right. It's Star Wars. Calm the fuck down.
Star Wars is life, bro. Are you new to this podcast?
Oh,
Fuck up,
God.
Nick. I interpret fucking film with my eyes. Fuck you.
And my dick. Natalie Portman. Whew.
I'd suck her dick.
Yeah. From the backside. No, I'm with you, man, about the opinions of Mace Windu. I actually could extend that to a lot of the prequel era characters. Actually, a lot of Star Wars characters in general. I don't think, outside of your main characters in the original ones, the people that these fans get like attached to are good. You know, like Boba Fett looks cool in the movies, but if you really boil it down to what he accomplishes in the films, like he tracks Han Solo. Han Solo also knocks him into a fucking pit in the desert where he's eaten. Like, he's as incompetent as he is competent, so it kind of cancels him out as, like, this great legendary character. Like, Luke is great, Han and Princess Leia and Darth Vader is probably the most interesting one. But other than that, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, like those, what did I say, 6 characters? Mm-hmm. That's it. That's your depth. That's the depth of the Star Wars characters.
Are we counting Anakin as Darth Vader as well?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was gonna say I find him the most interesting, but yeah, if he's included.
Yeah, to me, I mean, whenever we're having a discussion, just know if I'm talking about Darth Vader, I mean from his birth as actual Anakin Skywalker to his actual death. Because I'm not worried about like the symbolic, nature of his suit and all that shit. To me, he's just always Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
Because we're old enough to know that like when we grew up, Darth Vader was his name per se. Like it was Darth Vader. You didn't worry about like Anakin Skywalker. You didn't distinguish those things. It was just the same guy, different title. So just for future reference to everybody that listens, when I'm talking about Vader, I'm talking about little kid to death.
Fair. So I got one more news story that I'm going to do a quick, because there's like 10 other stories, 6 other stories, something. I'm going to do those rapid fire, and you can just give, shorter responses. The last big one I want to discuss before the actual big one at the very end I want to discuss is that Jeff Johns has announced a 6-comic event called Doomsday Clock. And it is set to serve as, quote-unquote, the end game to DC Rebirth. It's going to pit... It's a philosophical battle between Superman and Dr. Manhattan. They come face-to-face, and you have, the alien the god alien that became man, Superman, and his positivity against the man that became a god and his negativity. It's going to change the course of DC afterward, but it doesn't have any tie-ins. So it's a self-contained story that's going to redirect where they go from there. I'm excited as shit for it. Dr. Manhattan, next to Captain America, is probably my favorite comic book character. I fucking love him, and I can't wait to see those kind of arguments that are going to be made against each other.
Your pitch just sold me. As someone that doesn't love Watchmen the way you do...
I mean, honestly, couldn't Manhattan just create Kryptonium and just put it through his heart and be done?
It's not a matter of like a physical fight. It's a matter of perspective. It's all about, do we want a future full of optimism, or do we accept reality as this cynical, pessimistic thing? That, to me, is interesting.
But I'm saying that Manhattan can just like create matter out of nothing. Couldn't he once again create like Kryptonian out of air and then just kill Superman and be done with it?
Are you talking about Kryptonite?
Kryptonite, whatever the fuck it's called.
No. When you keep saying Kryptonian, that's the race of being he is.
Sorry, I meant Kryptonite. I'm sorry, Kryptonite is what I meant.
Well, I mean, but what Curtis is saying, I think it's irrelevant to your, like, can he just kill him? I don't think they're actually, like he even said in his little pitch, it's a battle of wits. It's not an actual physical fight. Plus, okay. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of the comic. It's not about who would win in a fight. This isn't Batman versus Superman, the movie, how's he going to defeat him? It's like about, it's more of like a battle of humanity, how it should survive, just with those two characters as, like, opposing sides.
Okay.
And for me, it's cool, because DC Rebirth is... I'm even reading the fucking Flash, and I don't even like the Flash.
Now, did you get through the Button storyline yet?
I've read issues 21 and 22 of Batman and issue 21 of the Flash. I don't think 22 was out when I read those.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited.
So
I hope they collect every like Watchmen related thing into a trade paperback once this whole thing's done, because that's going to be awesome.
When it's all said and done, yes, but the button doesn't. The first 3 issues are not about Watchmen whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about Flashpoint. So unless you should actually go back and read Flashpoint if you haven't.
How many issues was that collected?
5.
Okay,
5 or 6. Yeah, it's real. It's
6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. It's just a small thing, and you don't need to get the tie-ins unless you find them real cheap. But you should read Flashpoint because Flashpoint is the determining factor where this whole DC Watchmen universe juncture is happening.
right. I remember reading Rebirth issue 1, and them constantly referring to the events of Flashpoint.
Because the way it works is like the Flash goes back and does stuff, and then when he comes back, like he sees time and how it's going to change, and then he appears in the New 52. So now that we're out of the New 52, it's interesting. I think you should just go out and pick up Flashpoint, or I can just tell you how to read it online and just indulge yourself in that.
No, absolutely. I love this storyline. I love the little crumbs that we've been left trying to figure things out, and I cannot wait for Doomsday Clock. And that's going to be dropping November 17th.
I have to wait till November.
Yep.
God damn it.
Yep.
Well,
it's the same week the Justice League film comes out. I'll be reading the comic instead of watching the movie.
I was going to say that.
So, like I previewed before, I'm going to do some rapid fire ones. If you guys just want to give like 1 or 2 sentence opinions, or even 1 word or a grunt. Conan O'Brien is heading to court for him and his team supposedly stealing jokes from a comedian named Robert Caseback or something like that.
Robert, say that again?
Robert Caseback. I can't read my own handwriting.
Oh, okay.
Just some internet personality that claims that, and he has proof, that he was posting jokes on like Twitter that later wound up in Conan O'Brien's monologues without any credit or payment.
If this guy wins in court, then Amy Schumer needs to be sued because there are
Multiple
cases. Her whole act is stolen from other comedians, and she needs to be sued if Conan O'Brien can be sued. Because I'm going to give Conan O'Brien the benefit of the doubt. If he did steal him, I'm pretty sure his team stole him for him.
Not him.
We definitely have
They write
that.
him for the-
Because that dude wrote for The Simpsons. He's a proven entity. Amy Schumer, on the other hand, has always been stealing jokes. Like, always. Everything... She even had the audacity to steal Ellen DeGeneres' joke and say it to her on her own show. And Ellen, like, looks in the camera. She's like, yeah, I know exactly what that's like. It's bullshit. Like, fuck you, Amy Schumer. I'm sorry to go on that train, but I hope the guy wins his settlement. Because you should never be robbed of anything intellectual-wise. Like, if you can sue me for downloading your movie for $250,000... you're stealing that guy's jokes and making money off of him.
Right.
He deserves all the money you made off that joke.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So King Arthur is looking like this year's first box office bomb. Last weekend, which was its debut, it made $14.7 million, and it was made on a $175 million budget.
That movie's gonna fail hard.
I fucking saw that coming, and I mean, why didn't they just do Sherlock 3? Why the fuck not? Like, they were going to, it's in that line, just fucking do it.
Because this is what happens with all artists. They get bored with what they're doing, so they need to branch out, and so they make a piece of shit.
Okay.
So,
also, this is who's the director?
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah. Okay, he had a movie called Rock and Roll. He could do part 2 of that because that was a really good fucking movie, and I want a goddamn part 2.
Guy Ritchie, just going off of what Jeff just said again, the artist thing. Instead of making that, he had What's His Nuts from Pacific Rim and
Charlie Hunnam, Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy. Again, hunting for that next franchise, bro. And hey, we got Jude Law. He was in my one movie. He'll be in this movie. We'll get a franchise.
But what you just said is very important. Hunting for that next franchise. That is why we're going to get into this like really weird territory where a lot of movies flop and some movies make billions because stop trying to make a fucking franchise. Make one. Like, okay, I'm not trying to harp on this, but Baywatch looks like it's going to be fun and like a one-time deal. Make fun shit. Make one solid movie. Even Beverly Hills Cop, the movie that we go on about every day we hang out, was meant to be one film. In no way were any of these great action movies and all these even Star Wars didn't even know if they were going to make a second one, so they wrote a book. They had a script that they wrote, it turned into a book. So I'm just saying, like, put all your time and effort into one fucking movie, and if it's great, then you work out how to have a sequel. You know, this trying to start a franchise right away, you know, it's the carriage before the horse, and it never works.
No, and that's a problem, because then you start thinking it's like, oh, well, you know, you need to get this first one going to perpetuate the story. It's like, no, tell a complete narrative in 90 minutes right now. Fuck if you get a part 2 or a part 8 or whatever. Just do it with this one first.
Hell, even Friday the 13th didn't do something retarded like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh,
the
yeah.
first one was just the first one.
Yeah, well, no, it's the same thing with Halloween as well. The exact same thing. They did so good in the first one. They're like, we'll make a part 2, and he's the brother of this girl.
Fucking love Halloween 1.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Go back and listen to our old Schlocktoberfest drunk commentary for Halloween. You can hear all our thoughts on Halloween.
Jeff loved doing that. If you love it so much, go ahead and comment how you want a second Schlocktoberfest.
Yeah, I need 10,000 views on each video. If that happens, I'll make a second Schlocktoberfest.
Gladly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to keep like going on these long diatribes about Hollywood and shit, but that's why this show exists. Because not everything they're doing is stupid, but it's like that movie.
So much of it is, though. So much of it
90%.
is.
There's a 10%.
Oh, easily. I think 90% is literally on the nose. I think especially, we were talking about it earlier today, John Wick. That no way that they think that was going to be something that was going to turn into the next great action hero of the last 10 years. They didn't think that shit was going to happen. You know, but you have shit like them trying to make these franchises and King Arthur. And even, do I think that the movie would be different if they tried to make a one-off movie? I do. I really do. But you have this movie that, again, is based on a story that we've heard for the last 80 years. Like, what are you doing?
A little more than 80 years, but yeah.
I mean, as far as film, I mean, I'm not counting literature. I'm counting strictly film. Like, what the fuck?
Fair enough. So, How I Met Your Mother is probably getting revived.
Wait.
God damn it.
What?
How?
Yeah,
we know how he
exactly.
met the mother.
Yeah.
The story's over. It's like Star Wars. The story ended.
Oh, wait. I think I've heard about this. No, go on to the story.
No, it's just they're looking at possibly reuniting the cast and getting the old showrunners back, and they want to put it back on the air because money.
I mean, the show's fine. I don't have anything critical to say about it. I've only seen a few episodes and I liked it, but come on.
Okay,
the whole premise has been done.
They did, what is it? Girl Meets World, and that's been canceled after season 2. Full House has gotten a second season, but nobody really liked the first one from what I've been hearing in the reviews. It's these revival things, they seem to be like a flash in the pan. Like, yeah, that first season is going to get a lot of views because people are curious and will watch it, but then it doesn't deliver and people don't want it anymore.
I mean, I think, again, this again touches back to shitty Hollywood ideas. Again, revival, it isn't you coming with something new. It's you seeing a property that was existing before you touched on it, and you're trying to get money based on some form of nostalgia. And I think that, again, How You Met Your Mother, doing it 4 years after it ended, no one's gonna fucking get crazy excited about that.
It's not even like an old show at this point. Like, if you were to watch the show when it like hits syndication, you're still midway through the series. It's not like we're reviving the fucking Brady Bunch or something. Like, I don't even want any revivals of shows like this. But my point is, it's been so recent. There's no reason why. This is like the worst idea I've ever heard.
Like seriously, March 31st, 2014. What the fuck?
We're 3 years and change?
Yeah, no. Like, okay, I can imagine 10 years, you do, like, you know, their kids or some bullshit like that, or maybe a reunion show, whatever. You know, but you don't do, like, a whole, another 8 seasons of that show. Come on.
Yeah, Roseanne makes sense, because it's been 20 years at this point. It'll be a 20-year gap. Yeah. That's interesting to see where that goes. How I Met Your Mother, and like, you could even do that 70s show revival. I'd be interested in that one if you did it and set it in the 80s, and you got to see where the characters were 10 years into the 80s.
That could
1987.
That could work too. Also with Roseanne, I've also heard that like wouldn't a revival thing not work out because of the ending?
Yeah, John Goodman dies, but he's confirmed for the show, which also is coming to ABC next year. So
they might have him do a bunch of. Well, no, they couldn't have him do a bunch of flashbacks because they have all the old episodes.
Why don't they just say, "Hey, he's really not dead" or something?
Yeah, because wasn't the whole premise of the final episode? She kept lying that he was alive, but in reality, he's been dead from a heart attack. So you could just have her lying about lying. I don't know how else you do it.
Well, here's one thing that I'm not a big Roseanne fan, but I've been watching it in reruns lately. And one thing they do, which I appreciate, is they acknowledge the other Becky. Like, the other one will show up when the other, like, the original one came back to the show. Then the second Becky will show up and talk about, this is a nice house, blah, blah, blah. And, like, everyone's in on the joke. So I'm assuming they'll just do something like that, where it's like, didn't you die, Dan? No, it was a bad dream.
Even said, I think that it might be just the next step as far as them acknowledging, yeah, this was a bad dream or a coping mechanism, and the John Goodman that's in it is simply a recollection of the husband that died prior to what the show was, would be my best guess.
I hope they just do it like, hey, like in Iron Man 2, I'm here, it's me, deal with it.
Right.
John Goodman looks at the camera and says, it's me, I'm here, I'm not dead, and just never mentions it again, like, oh.
Or like a sarcastic Jiminy the Cricket kind of fucking character. It's like, hey, don't eat that fucking whipped cream, you're already fat. Don't do it.
Like that.
Speaking of the second Becky, the woman who played the second Becky, wasn't she the one from Scrubs?
Yeah, Sarah Chalk.
She's going to be in this show, but she's playing a different character.
What the fuck?
They're definitely doing that, man. They're definitely doing the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if they can get Johnny Galecki back, because he's busy with the Big Bang Theory. Because David was a big part of that show.
Isn't the Big Bang Theory ending, though?
In 2 more seasons, I think.
I doubt it.
God.
That show's garbage. That, to me, I mean, I'm not trying to jump on this, but that's everything wrong with pop culture.
Thank you. I've said that multiple times.
Because people aren't fans of pop culture, they're fans of that show, so they try to act like the characters, and they don't know anything about the shit they're trying to act like they're something. I got a Flash tattoo.
Well,
Do you read The Flash?
No, I just like the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, well, go fuck yourself there, Gerald.
And also Big Bang Theory is getting a spinoff where it's just Sheldon as a young kid.
So we're going to have a show about an autistic genius? Like Doogie Howser again?
I guess so.
No one wants to fuck still?
Didn't Sheldon just marry his boyfriend in real life?
I think so.
Yes, he did.
That's fucking
14
weird.
years. I mean, technically that's a true statement. I mean, they are gay, so...
Are you going to do those Windows commercials together?
Oh, I hated those commercials so much. Oh, my God.
So you guys know ransomware?
Yep.
Yes.
There's a group that's been holding Disney hostage here, and they're demanding that they pay an exorbitant amount of money in Bitcoin, or they are going to release Dead Men Tell No Tales online for free before the film debuts.
My company that I work for actually went in a lockdown because of all the crazy shit that was going on with this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just
so I felt shitty. I meant to fucking message you because obviously with what you do, I meant to say, hey, did you guys shut down a lot of internet traffic for because I guess it was 90 plus overall companies all reacted to what was going on with ransomware.
Yeah, no, we have a pretty solid IT department, so we were protected against that. Though I wish we weren't, because that would have been cool to not have to do anything for a while.
It was pretty fucking crazy around us, man. I mean, our IT departments, they're all a bunch of disgruntled dudes who are not happy with what's going on. But I would have fucking
that's every IT department.
Loved to hear an outside perspective from another company that essentially the brass was like, "Oh shit, shut everything down," and that is exactly what we did.
he just pulled the Ethernet cord out of the building and like, nope, not today.
No, they literally, because obviously with me being in security, they sent out, because we're part of crisis management for where I work, and they sent a fucking, because we have this, a certain company that deals with our crisis management messaging system, and I got an email, a call, and a text based on what fucking was going on.
Holy shit!
And they specifically said ransomware in all those messages, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Oh, God.
I hope they release it early. I hate that fucking franchise.
Yeah, that's and I mean that's the one that needs to die as well. It's like nobody cares about it anymore. It's not worth any fucking money. Just you're gonna get more people viewing it through the them releasing it than actually going to the theater and paying for it.
I had heard a rumor that there was a leaked work print of Episode 8, which has been confirmed as a fake, but I would love if they leaked Episode 8, because I would
watch Iron Man 2.
I would watch it, and I would release a synopsis. Look, if I ever come into contact with an actual copy of Episode 8, like early, I'm just going to release a synopsis for it and get like 1 million plus YouTube views and just tell everyone the fucking plot.
We'll go ahead and make a drunk commentary for it, too.
Yeah, I'll just be like, hey, we somehow got access to this film. Not telling you how we got it, but, hey.
How come we never get to do any Coke commentaries?
I don't drink pop.
But I'm Tish.
Yeah, thanks. No, if you're buying, you can do it. I like the lining of my nose.
So The Purge is getting a TV show, and it's going to be airing on both USA and Sci-Fi. And the premise of the show is that it's going to show what happens on the other 364 days.
That could be cool, I guess.
Wait. So it's going to be a bunch of people counting down the days like, oh, I'm going to kill my fucking neighbor. I'm putting a check mark on that fucking board.
Essentially, I guess it's going to show the lead up and then the fallout from a purge day.
If his fucking dog shits on my lawn 47 more times, I'm going to fucking kill him that day.
And his owner.
I read a comment that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. It goes, we have this purge day where you can do whatever you want and commit all these crimes. Let's say somebody kills somebody the day before but they don't find the body, or they kill somebody the day after. Like, how do they determine what day it was okay for that person to die?
Time of death? They can determine that and figure it out from there.
No, I get what you're saying, though. Like, what if it's like 11:59? Because there is a margin of error.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, like, say, like, okay, premeditated, like, I'm going to kill my wife, but she might kill me on Purge Day, but she's a law-abiding citizen. So I know there's a margin of error of 3 hours, so I might kill my wife at 9 o'clock at night on the day before the Purge, you know?
I assume there would be a higher spike of deaths before the Purge, like, in those, like, 1 or 2 hours than there would be actually on the Purge, because, you can kill whoever the fuck you want, and it's like, oh yeah, my wife died, at this time. Look, just test her out.
Or the government's very lazy as how they would actually be, and they just count as part of the fucking purge. Like, I don't think there'd be a lot of questions. I mean, outside of having a really cool late 90s thriller movie about it, you wouldn't have a lot of people asking fucking questions.
Very true. Very true.
I might check this show out if it ever hits Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah, if it's on USA, I'm sure it's going to hit Hulu.
Because I watch Preacher.
How is that?
From what I've seen, it's great.
Awesome.
I enjoy it. I would suggest you watch it.
Nice.
It's bloody, it's crazy, it's not like that deep about faith, but it's fun.
Alright.
So my last news story. We've done like 25 or so of them, 28. So Star Wars. There was this Japanese pamphlet, and it's been translated by many people and verified to say, in regards to Episode 8, that it is, the most shocking truth in Star Wars history will soon be revealed, and, quote, the climax scene will be full of mystery. What do you guys think they mean by the most shocking truth in Star Wars history?
That they don't care about the franchise?
Yes, motherfuckers like cooking to go watch it.
Well, I'll give you a real answer. I think they're I've said for months now, ever since the teaser dropped for Episode 8, they're trying to replicate The Empire Strikes Back, but they don't deserve it. They don't. The audience has not put any effort or time into these characters per se. Like, if we're being honest, like Rey is not deep. None of the characters are deep. So any revelation of her to Luke or anything is just like, oh. Like, Luke and Vader were big pop culture characters. They caught on quick, and they had this, like, there's this story. People were invested. As a fan of Star Wars, like a real fan, not like, hey, Star Wars is popular again, I'm going to go see these movies. Like, somebody that liked the shit before the prequels came out, and somebody that begrudgingly still enjoys it, not the new shit. I'm tired of mystery and suspense. Star Wars is not a mystery franchise. It's a fucking hero's journey. And here's the great thing, even though the prequels aren't that great, we knew how it fucking ended. It was supposed to be about the ride. The ride wasn't good, but the ending was actually really well done. Because we were invested, we had all this time. What big reveal? Like Luke's a Sith Lord? Whoop-de-fucking-do. Han Solo's not dead? Don't fucking care. Carrie Fisher really did die, so it can't be Princess Leia related. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, my guess is that Rey is Kylo's sister. That's my guess.
I think it's something
Leon,
different. I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
Right.
I don't know one mystery that is so huge that it's just gonna like blow my fucking mind. And they say all of Star Wars history, so they're saying literally it's gonna be bigger than Vader being Luke's dad. That's the biggest twist in cinematic history. There is nothing that comes close. You can throw out the Sixth Sense ending and shit like that, but in reality, in terms of pure shock and awe, Darth Vader being his dad, biggest of all time. So you're going to tell me that there is something bigger coming in this movie?
There isn't anything.
There isn't. It's just bullshit.
It's just fluff. And good. Okay, if this is a really bad twist, I think a lot of people, even like I guess what I would call the dumb ones that are buying into everything that comes out, even they're going to go, huh? Like they're in a weird position. Like they can't keep pushing this mystery angle too far and this rocking Star Wars to its foundation shit. Like people are kind of just on a ride for nostalgia's sake. Like let us enjoy the ride, or not me personally, but let them enjoy the ride, and then get off and just look back and be like, hey, it was fun. Not, like for me, my biggest complaint about Episode 7 is they ruin all the good characters. So if this big mystery twist is going to ruin even more characters, I would be even angrier, which I didn't even think was possible. Like, I fucking hate that movie. They made Han a bitch. Luke's a bitch. All these other characters just ran away. Why is the Empire still around? All this dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no good that can come out of this twist. Now, Curtis, you're the one that likes that movie.
Yep.
Of anyone that's ever been on this podcast. What do you think it could be? Like what would you like it to be?
I would like there to be no twist. And I said this a few episodes ago when we talked. I don't want a twist. Like I don't need a twist in this. I got the twist in Episode 5. Blew my mind as a kid. Thought it was amazing. If you can't top it, don't try to replicate it. And I'm telling you, as much as I love these new movies, I truly do. Don't try, because I know you're not going to succeed, and you do too. So why even attempt it?
Money.
Like you were talking about with Wonder Woman, the way the consumer acts. Oh, there's a big twist. I can't miss that. I cannot be out of the loop.
No, and that's fair. I'm just saying, like, a fan of the franchise since I was a little boy. Like, I know that they can't top it. So again, I'm looking at the marketing and I'm going, I know you're bullshitting, but this one pisses me off because I don't want reasons to not like Star Wars. I don't want to not like this franchise. I fucking love it. But don't give me a half-ass twist. And especially if if the majority of your complaints were, hey, I didn't like it because it resembles Episode 4, why would you then turn around and replicate Episode 5? Like, I do not understand. I do not understand that.
Because I think they just want like a surefire thing, and they're like, well, everyone respects Empire is the best one, but Disney's not taking into account Empire made less money than A New Hope, and Empire actually wasn't that well regarded when it came out. It wasn't until through the looking glass of time did people look back and see how great it is. But if you go back and listen to like modern reviews, it's not. The first one was like a watershed moment for film. It was a landmark moment. Everyone was like, oh, Star Wars is so great, this, that, and the other, Oscar this, Oscar that, all this great shit. Then you had Empire, and it was just like, it was good, and it made a lot of money, but it made so much less than the first one.
Well,
and then Empire copied the first one to get that money back, and the hype, and that's,
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just because they have no fucking imagination. Like, they have no idea what they're doing. That's really what it is. That's why they're going back and doing, like, prequels and having, like, the Han Solo movie and also their bullshit, because they honestly don't know what they're doing, but they need to pump out one thing a year just to, make money.
I don't know. I honestly can't think of any twist that I would find worthwhile. I want Luke to be Rey's dad, simply because anyone else, it seems like then the whole mystery of 7 was wasted. Like, for me, the payoff has to be that she's Luke's daughter, that he put away in hiding when everything went to shit. That's what it has to be for me to be satisfied.
I think it's something Darth Vader related, like he's not dead.
that
would honestly that would be the twist. Like, he's not dead. That would be the thing that would,
Yeah.
But
I'm looking at the wording, and they say the most shocking truth. So it's telling me that there's something that should affect the entire galaxy as a whole.
Remember a couple months ago when we did the episode where we talked about the proposed plot leak of Episode 8, and it was that Rey was Anakin reincarnated? What if that's it?
That would be dumb because we saw Anakin at the end of 6, right? He was back in his young form, like, so he's hanging out with Obi-Wan and Yoda and training his son, and then he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go turn into a baby. Like, that just seems really weird to me.
The only twist I would enjoy is if she was evil.
Yeah.
Like if she was like Palpatine reincarnated.
And Kylo Ren becomes the hero of the story or something. Like, it flips. That's the only way you can get me to be okay with her and all this other dumb shit. It's like, it has to be complete flip, and it's like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything like, oh, I'm your father, or you're my daughter, anything stupid like that, it's just going to be like, oh, duh.
It can't be a family twist. It absolutely cannot be a family twist, because it won't be as impactful as the father-son thing, and it'll be just a clear ripoff. So I get what you're saying. It needs to be something like, hey, you know this character that we just introduced that you thought was this? They're actually this. Then that would be a twist, but still not the...
I may even soften my stance on Episode 7, just by 1% or so. But my point is, like, oh, okay, shit, they had me hate this character, and now they're the
Wait,
bad
hold on.
guy? Oh my God.
What if it's about the Sith and the Jedi? What if it's about what if the twist is about that culture that we learned something that we didn't know and changes that whole dynamic?
Like the Sith were actually the good guys or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to say that because that's fucking obvious.
Well, if let's say you did say that, I think I would have a problem with that, because Star Wars has always been good versus evil, black and white.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of gray areas to Star Wars. You know, that's why I think it is timeless. Like, take out some of the haircuts from A New Hope, but that movie is timeless other than that, you know?
Yeah.
Good and evil, all that shit, and it just flows perfectly. And it's like a very modernly edited film, all that stuff. The soundtrack is timeless. I don't know if I would like that kind of twist. Unless it's just like she's actually the bad guy and then she has to be defeated.
Yeah, again, because it goes back to that moral relativism that we talked about last week. Just like, oh, they're going to completely turn around and tell us that the previous 6 movies, the Sith were the good guys. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's a twist that I could see that would that's the whole universe thing. That would be the twist that.
No, I get that.
The universe.
How would you play it then? If you were writing this, Nick, and you wanted to make the Sith the good guys and the Jedi the bad, how would you explain it in film?
I would explain that the Clone Wars were there to. I mean, like the Clone Wars were really there to dominate the the planets and build the government, and the Jedi were going to take each section of the galaxy or each sector or whatever and rule it as their own and be that. But the Sith didn't want that. They wanted everybody to be one with nature, and that didn't happen. Obviously, that's a very quick thing I just came up with. That's it.
I see what you're saying. I think if they do something like that, like something earth-shattering, you might damage the franchise.
Yeah,
brand. And now hear me out. Like I said, it's a story of good versus evil. People are emotionally invested. Like, okay, this is why I don't enjoy watching Star Wars, the old ones, as much. Because I know that Han Solo is going to become this hero of the rebellion and do all these great things, but then he's just going to skip out on his family and go back to being a piece of shit. Like, I can't watch the original movies and enjoy them knowing this is what's going to happen next. So if you give me some big reveal that kind of ruins the old ones, I think a lot of people are going to look back and go like, huh? And then they're not going to enjoy them as much, and then over time, people are just going to spend less and less money on them. Like I always said, George Lucas didn't really damage Star Wars as much as I think a lot of people on the internet like to say, because the prequels weren't that great, but you had the Clone Wars come in and kind of keep the brand alive for the kids, and it's overall a good show. You always kept merchandise out. Special edition changes aside, you always kept Star Wars an event thing, because Star Wars, like a Disney movie, it just comes out on Blu-ray, whatever. Star Wars was an event. You built up to the day of a home video release, be it the special editions on home video, be it the fucking Blu-ray or DVD release was a big deal. They had a special toy line, everything. Like, George Lucas knew how to keep the franchise alive and big without even making new movies. Disney might take it one step too far, and then it's like, oh, and then no one gives a shit about the old shit anymore. It's like, well, that's, whatever. They were gay the whole time. It was all a dream or something stupid. And people were just like, well, really? Fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, the Jedi were fucking the younglings. That's what it is. That's the truth. The galaxy is going to,
All right, Jerry Sandusky, calm the fuck down over there.
Oh man.
While we're on the topic of sports, Jeff, did you see all those comments of people talking shit to you for you calling out sports fans for being idiots?
Yep, they proved my point.
Bunch of knuckle draggers.
The thing is, we're not like a channel that appeals to the sports audience, and I didn't even say anything really bad about it.
You said one line. You said one line, and it was you were doing it to promote the intelligence of comic book readers. And yet those same comic book readers turn around and go, "You're calling me dumb because I like sports," after you just complimented them and said they're intelligent for reading comic books.
Well, people like to fixate on one thing, and they can't get over it,
No, that's exactly what it is. Everything's black and white. There's no gray area, and there can't be any, fucking dialogue, so...
It's just funny how sports are so fucking stupid.
It's just funny to me about, the people on the internet. It just goes to show you how, it's the little things that trigger them to the point where they can't overlook, the bigger picture. I could come to your house, give you $1 million, cook you a great dinner, tell you I think your wife's great and all this shit, but then I could also say you're a faggot at the end of it. And, none of that other stuff matters. If you came to my house, gave me money, and did all this great shit for me, and then you called me a faggot, I wouldn't care, because you gave me money and did all these great things for me. I can overlook that one small thing, because it's just, you said some words that I didn't like. Well, tough shit. You just gave me millions of dollars. I'm set for life. I know that's an extreme example, but these people are just, they're getting all this good shit that they want to hear, and then all I hear is the one fucking thing that they don't like. It's whatever, Get over it. I don't like fucking sports, and I don't like most sports fans. I cannot stand going to a fucking bar or a restaurant when there's nothing but ESPN on. Turn off the fucking TV or put on something decent. I hate... here it is. It's all talking heads, and all these people can't play fucking sports, so all they want to do is analyze them. You're not a fucking athlete. You're not... I don't care about your opinions of the NFL fucking draft. You know what? You didn't fucking draft... what's his name to your team? You're not... when people say this is our team, you're not a fucking member of the team. You are a consumer of that team's products. I'm not part of fucking Star Wars. I just buy the shit. I have an opinion of it, and that's great, but I don't take it to a point where it's I'm a fucking character. I didn't write myself a fan fiction character. I'm not fantasy booking. I'm not doing all this dumb shit.
When the Death Star explodes, you don't cheer and go, "We blew it up!" It's everyone, we did it! We beat those faggots in East Lansing, or whatever sports fans say.
But we did blow up the Death Star.
Many Bothans died to bring in the information on the second Death Star, so that's where I guess I get emotionally attached. I'm a Bothan at heart. So, you gave your news. I just got one piece of news, but to me this was the biggest piece. And some more information has come out, but earlier in the week, and this is what I wanted to talk about, and it kind of goes off of the whole DC trend of this week's show. Rumor has it that Justice League has extensive reshoots, and they, meaning Warner Brothers, have remade the movie. So this came from Slash Film, this came from a number of sources, and before I go into the article itself, just off of that headline I read to you, Nick, you go first, and then it'll go Lendenfield and Dion. What do you guys think about that piece of news? How does that make you feel?
World War Z, all fucking over again. That's what it is. And didn't they do the same thing with Batman v Superman?
Yep.
Not to this extent.
Yeah, but they still they still reshot things like that. But when you
And Suicide Squad.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Don't act like it was just...
No. You're right. I forgot about that. My bad. Thank you for reminding me. So this seems to be a really bad thing to do. It's we're gonna make a great movie. It's not so great. Fuck, let's put some more money into it and make it even better. It's no! You can only polish a turd so much. It's still a turd. It's not good, and especially towards DC's reputation right now. When you say that shit, even the headline without reading the article is damaging to them. This is going to make Wonder Woman's weekend even fucking worse.
I think even like you said though, more so than this actually happening, it's just the image it gives for this brand. If people can't trust it, like me, I get excited for him. I was never an Ant-Man fan. I knew the character. I knew the Hank Pym Ant-Man. I knew he became Yellow Jacket, hit his wife, the Wasp, all that shit. I knew the character's basic history. But because of Marvel's track record, I got excited for Ant-Man the film, and I thought it was great. This just goes to show you that, like, the narrative of a movie is as important to certain types of people.
And also, in production in general, there are reshoots in general. They're put in contracts. There are days left over for that. But if it's to the extent of them changing the fucking story, that looks really bad regardless.
Well, here, I'll read you a clip from this article. It says, speaking on a condition of anonymity from the source, they said that in the 17 months between the start of principal photography and the final cut arriving in theaters in November, that the film has essentially been remade twice.
Oh my god!
Like...
They fucked up. So this is like their third time. It's like, all right, we got it right this time. We're sure of it.
It's just so embarrassingly bad that it's funny at this point, you know?
Oh god, I just want to buy the Blu-ray of this now so I can see how they fucked up and like what better parts they put in. Like I just want that now.
Well, they don't ever release all that.
I wish they fucking would, man. I wish they fucking would. Can you have like some sort of like editor's edition where I get to put in the parts that were good and make my own movie that I can watch? Can I do that?
I'd like that for Star Wars because I got a couple little nips and tucks I'd like to make, and then A New Hope would be perfect. It'd become my favorite movie again. But that's for next week's show. Curtis, what do you think?
It's not going to be a popular opinion, but I think of the fear that a lot of people had with Rogue One getting extensive reshoots, and then I remember how amazing that movie was and how a lot of people felt the same way and came out of it with a fresh perspective. So I'm going to give it the benefit of a doubt. I'm going to say the last time I saw something go through extensive reshoots and re-edits, it turned out really well. I'm not saying this movie will, but Rogue One proved that there's a chance for that to happen.
Dion.
My thing is, what's his name? J.J. Abrams. Was he in on the Rogue One?
No, I don't think so. No, it was Gareth Edwards.
And Zack Snyder's in on Justice League?
Yeah, he's directing it.
Okay, that's my opinion.
There you go.
And you all know what I think, so
Wait,
good luck with that shit.
We got a picture on Twitter that was of Zack Snyder editing the movie. Didn't we? Like a while back.
Yeah, on a moviola. Not a moviola, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And so I don't know if like he fucked up editing or if it's just like I don't know. It's all bad. It's all fucking bad.
No, like I said, Rogue One, that's a very good point. But again, that was Gareth Edwards, and Zack Snyder's still on Justice League. We all saw the fucking trailer. We have not heard anything about the people who are doing the previous DC movies not being on the Justice League movies. And again, we all know how I feel about this.
And the funny thing to me is, like, DC movies going forward can't keep a fucking director. They can't keep a release date. It's like all this shit just keeps happening. Like, it's not one or two things. It's like this, and
even like I said before in this show, they're not trying to beat Disney. They're trying to beat the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And I think you're playing a whole different game with that. And not to be a dead horse, but again, you are doing the same thing, thinking that the outcome's going to be different. So, we'll see. I literally can't make a joke about this. I can't really laugh about it. It's going to be... Justice League is happening. This movie is happening. We've seen the previews, the reshoot news, whatever. We just got to wait and see. Obviously, I think the dice are going to fall more so on the side that's going to be fucking shit. But again, we gotta let Warner Bros. And DC make their own destiny, bro.
I would like if one day they released an honest-to-God documentary about why the DCE fared the way it did.
It has to happen. You've got on one side a $1 billion franchise.
Ego will prevent these people from ever admitting they did any wrong. It took the Sony email leaks to learn why they're doing the stuff they do, like, and how it goes down the way it does. I mean, we'll find out in November.
You mentioned the word ego. I just watched Guardians for the first time.
Yes.
And kind of a weird feeling from it.
How so?
Well, for starters, I watched it. I laughed, I cried, felt an array of emotions, and then left the theater and pretty much forgot about it. But one thing stuck in my mind, and it seems not to sound conspiracy theorist or what. I'm not a Christian, but it definitely seems like it's almost a metaphor for like rejecting God, the creator, and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but it's just been on my mind for a few days.
It's funny. Well, I didn't have this same thought, but I did say to Dion the first day I got up here, I was like, Guardians just really stuck with me. The whole like Yondu part, and like just like I don't know, the gravity of certain like emotional elements of that movie kind of stuck with me more so than like Civil War. We were all pumped. We loved the fight. Oh, Spider-Man was great. This, that, and the other. Very superficial things. Maybe we discussed the whole friendship element between Tony Stark and Captain America dying out. Blah blah blah. But like Guardians 2, man, the whole like Yondu shit. They took a character I didn't even like and made him like my favorite character in most of these Marvel movies. Like I was into that, and the like father-son relationship between Star-Lord and Ego the Living Planet and all this shit, like, I thought that movie had so much depth that I feel like a lot of people are missing on, and it bothers me that they're missing out on that. They're focused on fucking Baby Groot.
No, that's true.
I never took the whole rejecting God approach. I honestly never even had those thoughts.
Well, I guess the thing about it, Ego was the creator of things. He became, he put himself in man's form. Yondu even made a point to say, he may be your father, but I'll always be your daddy, or whatever. So you have this, white guy with a white beard who's a creator and who has these children who initially thought that he loved them, but in reality, he has a bunch of kids and he doesn't give a shit about them. So it's almost like the steps of rejecting God. Like, you go through this, oh my God, I'm in awe, I have this heavenly father, blah, 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 and it turns out he's a dick. And it's almost like, well, don't care about him. Care about your earthly father, or your earthly parents, or the people here, because they're your actual family, not the creator. And whether or not I agree with that, I thought it was just a very interesting thing that popped in my head while watching that.
Well, that's why this show exists, to have differing opinions on movies. Like I said, I never thought about that in that manner, but I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I definitely... If I were to rewatch it again with your frame of mind in my mind, I could probably see that a little more. But I just went in there seeing a father-son story more than anything. And not on a biblical Jesus father-son story. Just like, the guy that you thought was a piece of shit actually was the most noble one of them all, and then dies being a hero. That's what I took out of that. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't cry in the movie, but I was like, Jesus Christ, it was heavy, especially when they fucking sent him out to the, not buried him at sea, but space equivalent. I was just, really, wow, this is heavy. Holy shit, this is a Marvel movie. And that's why I always praise Marvel movies and give them all these, not passes, because they haven't made a bad movie to me, but, all these, all the praise I give those movies, because they continually impress me with little things like that. It's not like it's the same shit. We know with Wonder Woman it's just going to be a fucking fight, and then maybe it's something about how a woman's more capable than a man, or some dumb shit that we're going to see forced in at the end. Guardians, I thought, was just going to be a bunch of cutesiness and shitty music, and it was deeper than any of them. Even more so than the Tony Stark-Howard Stark father-son relationship.
Yeah, very true. And one thing that they did is that they put the character building and all the information you needed in the second movie, not the first one. The first one is just all right, we found each other, we need to get out of jail, and we need to get this Infinity Stone to this place and be the bad guys, and that's it. Yep. There was very little there was enough information given to you in the first one for you to, just go through the whole movie. But in this one, they're like, all right, here's how everybody's character is.
Well, I think they did a great job. Overall, Curtis, what'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it, but for whatever reason, it just didn't stick with me long term afterward.
I enjoyed it more than the first one because I don't really like the first Guardians.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's this week's show. Let's look at some fan mail real quick. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Shakalaka.
All right. So last week was episode 71 of World Class Bullshitters. Let's see. What were some of the big comments? This comes from Terry B01. This came out on my birthday and was a great birthday gift. Thanks, WCB. Well, you're welcome, Terry, and thank you for spending your birthday with us. That's kind of cool to think. Like, people get pumped. Like on your birthday, you get excited for stuff, but it's cool to think like this show is just like one extra layer of something good to look forward to.
Yeah.
And happy belated birthday, Terry.
Yes, I apologize that I didn't even say that first. Let's see. August for President says, I was alive when Spider-Man came out. I wasn't into Spider-Man until 2 was released on DVD, though. The only movie I saw of the original trilogy in theaters was 3. Okay, Oggs, well, I know you're a big Spider-Man fan, and just wait till July, my friend. You're going to get more Spider-Man content than you ever thought possible from this channel. You said you're also... Bryce Gielman says, same here, I was born in the wrong generation. At least you got to experience it. Imagine being like 60 years old seeing that movie. That would suck. At least like that's part of my life as a child. Like I was in grade school when the first Spider-Man came out. I got to live through it. It was great. Let's see. Joseph Dooley, you need to give Steve Rogers as Hydra a chance. Could there be some HP7 Snape level potential? I don't know what that means.
I think it's Harry Potter 7 and Snape and all that other queer wizardry shit.
Alright, Joseph, I like your comments. I'm not making fun of you, but I don't know Harry Potter, so, like, I know a lot about pop culture, but I've removed myself from that fairy dust bullshit.
And I don't know how to read his comment. Is it sarcastic? Hopefully, please. Fingers crossed. Because if he's being serious, it makes me not like him.
I'm just not going to give it a chance, man. I don't. It's not that I don't like the idea of the story. I don't like the meaning behind the story. It's a very mean-spirited story, and it doesn't need to come out now. You know, it's not like a post. Okay, Spider-Man had a 9/11 story that came out right after 9/11. That was the perfect time to release that kind of story. This very anti-American story doesn't need to come out now, and we're already kind of at each other's throats. It's like bad taste, if you ask me. Like, I think that's my biggest problem. It's like in bad taste. So Nick Spencer, whatever, you're not a politician, and whatever you're trying to say isn't really important right now. This one comes from Eric Ward. This is my personal favorite comment of the week. So Eric Ward, congratulations, you win. You guys are great. Love how you talk candidly and passionately about the shit we love. It reminds me of my friends and all the hours we spent debating nerd shit. LOL. Jeff, your rants are awesome. Thank you, Eric. This comes from Wind Whisper 0234. Your show is great because you're unapologetic and say what you want without backtracking in safe discussions. Without backtracking in safe discussions like cucked bitches, like a majority of the podcasters out there. Well, Wind Whisper 0234, let me tell you something. It's because none of us are really trying to break into the industry through our podcast, so it's just raw and candid. You know, would I like to be an actor? Yeah, it'd be awesome or something. But none of us are, like, going to release a demo reel of World Class Bullshitters and say, you know, when I go out to Hollywood, I'm going to use this as whatever, and I got to appeal. I can't piss anybody off. No, I don't give a shit if I piss off Disney or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, I'm their customer. If you don't get my money, that's it. That's all the relationship.
Make a better product, then.
I do this podcast so I can get away with saying kike at least once a week.
Just to get out of your system?
Just get out of my system because I can't say that shit at work.
Gotcha.
You know, if you said it in your bathroom, it'd have the same effect. You could just scream it out at the top of your lungs.
Or the shower, you know.
Yeah. Just call your fucking showerhead that. Luke. Hey, Luke. Personally, I love Pacific Rim, but hey, different strokes. As for Marvel TV shows, I'd say Iron Fist is shit, but the others are solid or great. I don't think you're going to get any love for Pacific Rim from us, Luke, because you've already heard the episode. I don't think Iron Fist was shit. I think it started out shitty and ended okay. And Jessica Jones can suck a dick. Luke also goes on to say that the new Jedi Order is amazing, but the stuff I like best are the X-Wing books and I, Jedi. Of course, all of it replaced by the bullshit Episode 7. Okay, here's one of my favorite comments too, but for all the wrong reasons. You guys need to get dropped in the middle of South London and let life teach you a lesson. My response, will that lesson be served alongside a nice cup of tea and reruns of Are You Being Served? Then Oggs for President comes in and says, you mean the lessons that they're trying to tell you about modern society isn't getting through your head? Thanks, Oggs.
Wait, what provoked some guy to say that? Like, I don't understand that at all.
I'm sure I gave a nice compliment to England of like how the people are polite, but Vice Videa 25 took it as you're an asshole. So whatever. It's just like people can't detect subtlety. Because if I said this to the person in person, they wouldn't take it that way. Maybe you can't. Maybe I'm too dry in my delivery over Skype, and you need to see the gesticulation of my hands.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds like this Coos needs to get busted in the mouth, and so maybe his teeth will get fixed.
I'm just going to be honest. Either way, I don't care. I just thought my response was kind of funny. It made me laugh. That's why I read it. Andrew Hart says, Brock Lesnar as Eddie Brock. You know, if he could act. Look-wise, yes, 100%. Brock Lesnar, if he could act. Also, Andrew Hart says, Jeff, are you searching for the Jim Lee Marvel Legends Cyclops? Yes, Andrew Hart, I am. If you find it and you want to sell it to me for whatever the cost of it is plus shipping, I'll gladly do that. So, thank you if you have access to it. Queen Sheena, the listener of the week, says, great show, guys. And she just wants to tell us about feeling free to read her long comments, which our episode's kind of long tonight, so I won't, but just know that personally I'm going to read them to the guys off air, and I love them. So please continue to watch our videos and give us your opinions. She says, Spider-Man forever, go home, Wonder Woman.
Queen Sheena is the 1%.
Yeah. This comes from True02 Baller. Great video, guys. I discovered your channels from your Force Awakens rant and have been binge listening to each episode. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Frieza 1500. I agree with Jeff. Eventually the pendulum is going to swing the other way, and then the SJWs are going to be sorry they ever opened their dumbass mouths. Cool. I'm glad you agree with me. It's nice to know that my rants aren't just hot air. Let's see. Thomas Karnacki. You haven't read enough Judge Dredd comics over the last 40 years if you don't think Judge Dredd is hardcore enough. It's mainstream American comics that seem tame by comparison, especially in the storytelling. Well, Thomas Karnacki, what I meant by that was the stories end abruptly with no payoff. Judge Dredd will be like, oh yeah, in death, and he'll kill the guy, and then the story just ends, and you're like, huh? There's no repercussions, there's no, like, the Robot Wars, or whatever it was, that was cool, that was hardcore. I like Walter the Robot, too, or Walter the Wobot, if you want to talk like his fucking lisp. Like, I like Judge Dredd, but the Punisher Max series, now that's hardcore shit. I'm not saying it's better, quality-wise, I'm just saying that is what I would consider hardcore comics. Judge Dredd is great, I got a lot of respect for it, I'm looking forward to the new show, but I mean, if that is the most extreme thing you've ever read in comics, I mean, there are Spider-Man stories that have a lot grittier moments. Go read the Sin Eater storyline. You'll learn something about good American comic book storytelling if you need to bring in America to this argument. Liquid Metal Pro, ellipses, faggot. Most poignant comment ever. Also, by the way, Liquid Metal Pro, I just got your email as we're recording this episode, so I will send you your information within the next couple days. Don't think that I didn't, want to help you out. Oh, he also goes on to say, Charlotte Flair, a waste of nudes. God, how I wished it was Alexa Bliss, Asuka, or Lana, or Becky Lynch instead. I agree. Let's see, he also says fuckcrack.com. They're a website full of full-blown SJWs right after the whole Zoe post. Yep, listeners, if you want to go back and listen to what I consider the birth of the SJW influx, the modern influx, I'm not talking about like the seeds being planted in entertainment early. Go back, look up Gamergate and the whole Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian thing. It's a good read. I remember living through it and like being really invested. So it's fun for what it was. I'm glad it died.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that whole comment, and then her whole brand got shut down immediately.
Everyone's like, oh, it's sexism in video games. No, people were pissed because you slept with a journalist for media attention. People wanted integrity. It wasn't about an attack on women or any of that other bullshit. It's just straight up, you slept with this dude to get attention for your shitty game, and people had a problem with it. And that was it. And they tried to turn it into this whole war. Anthony Perez, shout out to him. He says, "Call me crazy, but I enjoy watching Gotham." As I told you in the comments, you're crazy, sir. But you're crazy for liking this show for all the right reasons. Here we go. I love these kind of comments. These telling us how they discovered world-class bullshitters. And I feel like a lot of you, if you listen to this episode this week, are going to say, "I heard your Captain America video." Well, cool. Now this guy, Tyro Apache, says, "I discovered you guys last year off your Force Awakens review. And I agree 100% with you guys on how terrible it was. I also agree BVS was a major letdown, and while I liked Suicide Squad, I acknowledge its problems. But I strongly disagree with your assessment of Man of Steel. That film is in my top 5 comic book films of all time. I absolutely loved it." Well, Dion has spoken. Brian Lape had a problem that we had no outro. The show just ended. Well, Brian. There will be an outro this week.
Damn it, I'm hoping that was just going to be the end of the episode. Well, Brian, and it's cuts.
I was considering doing that, but I'm like, there's a couple more comments I want to give their just due to. Derek Nelson, who I thought was just a very happy man in his profile picture, and then I realized it was a picture of Kurt Cobain. He says, "TJ Miller sounds like Ryan Reynolds, and he's also low budget enough to pull off the voice of Deadpool for the TV series, so cool. I'm fine with that. I really want Ryan Reynolds, but if it sounds good, I don't really care too much." He also liked last week's episode, and he said, "LOL, Happy Gilmore apartment scene, classic." The rest of them are just discussions on, Wonder Woman make a lot of money, the Hellboy trailer. But I got to give the final comment to the Red Hood, because this one is, and I mean this in a nice way, it was so dumb it made me laugh. So I hope you laughed the way I did. Hellboy was buns. I hated that shit. It's just so, I've never heard someone describe a film or anything as buns. So, thank you, Red Hood. That was fucking amazing. Over on the emails, we don't have anything really too deep. We have one from goop.com. So, whatever. But that's about it.
Kendo Slice, really quick. Let's give a shout out to him because he pointed out that Dr. Phil doesn't give hand jobs; he gives foot jobs, which I think was very informative.
But if you don't have feet, what do? Like ankle nubbins?
Ankle nubbins?
Yeah, for Phil, it's cankle.
No.
Goddamn.
Well, this has been episode 72 of World Class Bullshitters. Next week, we will be back with a very special episode. It'll be the 40th anniversary of Star Wars to the day next week, so we're going to give you a very Star Wars-centric episode, mostly about A New Hope. You could talk about the other ones, but it's going to be a very New Hope-centric episode. We're also going to have all the information about our Patreon ready for you guys. So if you like this show and you want to throw at least $1 a month at the channel to help us grow and make some exclusive content, we'll give you all the information. It'll be live. You'll have all that good shit. Another little piece of news. Nick is going to pick up the new Friday the 13th game, and he is going to Twitch stream it. We're going to come up with a Twitch stream for our channel somehow. So, be on the lookout. We'll announce it on Twitter and the Facebook page. And if you're not a member of those, you need to be, because for the 400 new subscribers or something we got this past week, 2 of you have joined the Facebook page. The Facebook page is a lot of fun. It's an interactive group with the fans. We got this guy named Eddie who reviews movies. That's his goal in life, to be a professional movie reviewer. He's quite good now. He reviews that. He brings up all kinds of interesting points. So if you just want a really good community to talk about movies and entertainment, without being judged, and 2, because IMDb shut down their message boards, find us, the official World Class Bullshitters fan page. It's a group. It's awesome. We'll talk to you directly.
Yeah, and the game comes out May 26th. The 27th is when we're going to do the Twitch stream. We'll get that together and get the information out to all of our social media. So follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook, so you can get the alerts, and we can get that out to you. And you can watch me drunkenly play Friday the 13th, the best way I can.
And I think I might get drunk with him just to watch it. So it's like going to be a live Let's Play for me.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. So if you like horror, if you like blood, if you like nudity and violence, our Twitch stream. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add before we put this baby to bed?
Stu, your rent is due, motherfucker.
Bonus points to anyone in the comments that can tell me what movie that's from without using Google. All right, just putting it out there. You'll get a no prize next week. All right, well that seems like it's it. So I've been your host, Jeff Hicks.
Man with the plan and the original tan, Deion Grant.
I've been your friendly neighborhood Samoan saying, eat your vegetables.
If you're gonna rape someone, rape a pregnant chick, because if you dump it inside of her, she won't have to choose later whether or not to abort her rape baby.
Of course.
The look on Deion's face was pure disappointment.
Now we know where 3 of his kids came from.
All right, well, we will save that retort for next week. Thanks for listening, and God bless. I don't know. Good luck. Godspeed. Something.
Hail Hydra.
You're gonna need it. Hail Hydra. Okay, that's it.